Biden apologizes for delay in Ukraine military aid.
In headline sports, West Indies goes for second straight victory at ICC T20 World Cup in Guyana.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, should Jamaica's sex offenders registry be made public? Government Senator Dr. Sophia Longmore and the president of the PNP Patriots, Christopher Henry, will tell us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, where like eat when rain a fall? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, today's World Food Safety Day. What's the link between food and the crisis of non-communicable diseases affecting Jamaica? Senior food storage scientist in the Ministry of Industry, Tamika Samuels, and the director of the Standard Division at the Bureau of Standards, Julia Bonner-Dewitt, will join us.
And at 8, it's the A-Team with Dennis Brooks.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, it's a lovely Friday, June 7, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by Fostrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. International ride-hailing service IND Drive says the Jamaican man arrested in connection with the abduction and murder of primary school teacher Daniel Anglin is not one of its drivers. The company made the revelation in a letter to Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. Dana Davy reports.
In a social media post Friday morning, Minister Vaz disclosed that IND Drive, through its Central America Government Relations Manager, Jose Manuel Gandaria, has contacted the Transport Ministry. This follows Vaz's announcement on Tuesday of a ban on all app-based ride-share companies. The ban was imposed following the arrest of a man, reportedly a driver under the IND Drive banner, in connection with the abduction and murder of primary school teacher Daniel Anglin. In the letter dated June 6, Gandaria says he is aware of the incident involving Miss Anglin. He says he has been in close communication with the lead investigator of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to ensure the company provides the necessary support. But in a major development, Gandaria says the person of interest in the case was not offering his services on the IND Drive platform. That's a significant point. It's significant because the narrative from the police suggested that the person of interest came into contact with Miss Anglin after she hired his services as an IND Drive taxi operator. Gandaria also notes that Miss Anglin last used the IND Drive app several days before her disappearance. Turning to the ban on all rideshare apps in Jamaica, Gandaria says the company will be seeking a meeting with Minister Vaz to discuss various approaches to resolving the safety concerns. Minister Vaz says it's regrettable that IND Drive is only now wanting to talk to the government.
I can confirm receipt of a letter of yesterday addressed to me as Minister from the representatives of IND Drive requesting a meeting which I will grant, but I must note that it has taken the drastic action to bring these people to the table since we have been trying to contact them, including the police, in recent months with no success.
Minister Vaz says IND Drive and similar companies must abide by Jamaica's laws.
I want to make it very clear that Jamaica is a sovereign country and that no company, despite its size, magnitude, or financial success, will be allowed to disregard our rules and regulations and communication with the relevant authorities. I'm happy that this has happened, but I'm very sorry that it had to take the action that I was forced to take in order to bring IND Drive to the table. Thankfully now we have all rideshare, both local and international, in contact with us, and this will make it that much easier for us to work out the safety and regulatory matters and get everybody back on track.
IND Drive is headquartered in Mountain View, California, and is the second largest ride-sharing and taxi app worldwide by download. It operates in more than 700 cities in over 45 countries. The app allows users to upload basic information about themselves as well as their vehicle information, which includes photos, insurance, and a visible license plate number. Commuters who use the app are required to upload basic information accompanied by a photo. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
And the abduction and murder of primary school teacher Daniel Anglin has sparked fresh debate over whether the names of all persons listed on the Sexual Offenders Registry should be made public. There's no evidence that Miss Anglin was a victim of sexual assault. But amid the raging debate, the National Security Minister has announced a review of the relevant laws to inform the government about how widely it can share the data in the registry. So, who qualifies for the ignoble inclusion on the Sex Offenders Registry? Robian Williams has that story.
The Sexual Offenders Registry was established under the Sexual Offences Act of 2009. The regulations governing the registry came into effect in 2012. Persons convicted of specified offences under the Sexual Offences Act, the Offences Against the Persons Act, the Child Care and Protection Act, and the Trafficking in Persons Act qualify to be added to the registry. Among the offences that could land one on the list are convictions of incest, rape, marital rape, sexual touching or interference, grooming of a child, sexual offence with a person under 16, violation of a child under 16, grievous sexual assault, indecent assault, abduction of a child under 16, violation of a person suffering from a mental or physical disability, forcible abduction, buggery, as well as the sale or trafficking of children. The names contained in the registry are not available to the general public. Only specific members of the public or organizations may apply to obtain access to the registry. These include the JCF, persons engaged in the counseling of sex offenders, prospective employers of the sex offender, and persons managing facilities for the care or treatment of vulnerable persons at which the sex offender is or has applied to be a patient, employee, or volunteer. Persons managing educational institutions at which the sex offender is enrolled or is seeking to enroll, persons acquiring information approved by the Minister for statistical purposes, and a parent, guardian, caregiver, nearest relative, or person having an association with the sex offender may also apply for access. Persons added to the registry are monitored for 10 years before they are eligible for consideration to have their name removed from the registry. A judge may extend the time period for the offender's name to remain in the registry. Persons added to the registry must report any change in their address or name to the authorities. They must also report any plans to leave the island. Persons who violate the terms of their reporting under the offenders registry may be liable to a fine of up to $1 million. The Ministry of National Security has ordered a review of the registry with a view to determining how much more information about it can be made public. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
The National Water Commission, the NWC, says it will on Saturday lift restrictions on customers served by the Hermitage and Constant Spring facilities. Shalois Michael has that story.
The restrictions on water supply in the corporate area were imposed in April amid persistent drought conditions. But over 1 month later, the NWC says the storage levels at the Hermitage Dam in St. Andrew are improving. The NWC says the customers will be able to enjoy 24-hour water supply starting Saturday, June 8. The water company disclosed that as of Friday, storage levels at the Hermitage Dam stood at 90.3%. That's the equivalent to 355 million gallons of water. At the time of the restrictions, the volume at the dam stood at 71.4%. NWC says increased rainfall over the past several days accounted for the rise in water inflows at the facility. However, there's been a decline in the volume at the Mona Reservoir. As at June 6, the reservoir stood at 71.4% or 576 million gallons. That's a decline from the 600 million gallons recorded in April. The NWC says the restriction will be lifted for all areas served by the Hermitage and Constant Spring systems. However, it's urging customers to be conscious of their water use and conserve where possible. The Commission also expressed appreciation to its customers for their patience during the weeks of regulations. Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
Opposition leader Mark Golding is threatening to sue Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Heroy Clark, for defamation. Mr. Clark is the MP for Central St. James. The allegation stems from a post purportedly written by Mr. Clark in a WhatsApp group. Lawyers representing Mr. Golding wrote to Mr. Clark demanding an unreserved written apology along with payment for damages. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The pre-action letter on Mark Golding's behalf was sent on the letterhead of Golding's law firm, Hart Muirhead Fata. It's signed by King's Counsel Michael Hilton. It says, on or about June 6, 2024, the JLP's Heroy Clark published statements defamatory of Mr. Golding in a WhatsApp group called CC Business Network. The group has approximately 300 members. The letter says those statements comprised utterly false claims about his wife and the origin of their relationship. Casey Hilton says the statements have disparaged Mr. Golding, his character, and his reputation as leader of the opposition, a former minister in government, an attorney at law, an investment banker, and a businessman. The letter says Mr. Clark's alleged statements have severely injured and damaged his credit and business and have brought him into public scandal, odium, and contempt. It says this has caused considerable distress and embarrassment to him. Casey Hilton says the statements have also caused reputational damage to Mr. Golding. He's demanding that Mr. Clark agree to provide a full and unreserved written apology to Mr. Golding in a newspaper of island-wide circulation in Jamaica, in form and substance and with prominence acceptable to Mr. Golding. The letter also calls on the Central St. James MP to agree to enter into discussions regarding the settlement of their client's claim against him for damages for defamation. Casey Hilton says he holds instructions to bring proceedings against Mr. Clark if he fails to meet their demands by 4 p.m. next Monday. When contacted about the matter, the Deputy Speaker said he was unwilling to discuss it. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. More after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
14 minutes after 5.
Rent-to-Kill Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rent-to-Kill Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-to-Kill is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Scientific Research Council, making science and technology work for you. With research and development,
SRC reinforcing Jamaica with added strength.
From the fields to the labs, we gather and review information.
Detailed research as a foundation,
combined with tech and innovation, working for you
to fulfill the
plan to develop and help uplift we nation. And that's the mission. The Scientific Research Council, making science and technology work for you.
For more information, call SRC at 876-927-1771.
To seize opportunities on your business horizon, you need tailored financing solutions from a partner that takes the time to understand your business. Sagicor Investments. We offer mid-sized to large corporations the debt and equity financing solutions they need to drive growth. Backed by the strength of Sagicor Group, one of the largest financial conglomerates in the region, you can be confident that we will deliver. Make your business move with Sagicor Investments. Contact our capital markets unit at 888-SAGICOR.
Continuing the news. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz has received a preliminary report into Thursday's incident at Norman Manley International Airport, which saw an aircraft overshooting the runway.
I can confirm that as Minister, I've received a preliminary report from the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority in relation to the incident involving the American Airlines flight into Norman Manley International Airport last night. The runway excursion is considered a serious incident based on the fact that the airplane departed off of the runway at some stage of the landing, which caused significant damage to the aircraft and minor damage to the airport, the airstrip lighting.
Local civil aviation authorities are reportedly collaborating with the U.S.-based Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, on the investigation. American Airlines is also cooperating in the probe. It's understood the flight AA-850 was entering Kingston from Miami during heavy rains. The pilot reportedly circled the airport for several minutes before attempting the landing. The aircraft sustained damage to its engine fan blades, hydraulic hoses, landing gear, and tires.
The Jamaica Civil Aviation has launched an official investigation into this matter, as well as the American Airlines. My understanding is that both teams have visited the site today, and I'll get a further update as things unfold. I'm happy to know that there's no injury reported up to this point, and for that we give thanks.
Darrell Vaz, the Transport Minister.
The man who carried out a brazen daylight knife attack that claimed the life of a 3-year-old in St. Mary has been charged. He's identified as 33-year-old laborer Devon Williams. Williams is charged with murder, 3 counts of wounding with intent, and 2 counts of unlawful wounding. The charges follow the May 29 incident in Paji district, during which Williams attacked a group of people with a knife and an iron pipe. Among them was 3-year-old Asha Campbell. It's reported that Williams, armed with a knife and an iron pipe, inflicted several wounds on Asha and 5 other people. They were assisted to the hospital where Asha was pronounced dead. The others were treated and released. Williams was handed over to the police after being accosted by residents. It was later revealed that Williams was recently deported from the U.S. He's set to appear in the Port Maria Parish Court on June 13.
A coalition of civil society groups and private sector organizations have affirmed their commitment to an updated national consensus on crime. The updated consensus has been dubbed Consensus 2024. It replaces the 2020 Consensus on Crime. The groups say the affirmation is aimed at achieving a sustainable reduction in crime, violence, and corruption in Jamaica. They say the new document focuses on short-term strategies which will help reduce the level of violent crimes in the country. The groups did not detail the short-term strategies to be pursued. The coalition has been expanded to include Jamaicans for Justice, Advocates Network, and several service club organizations. The group is urging the Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee to engage all Jamaicans in ensuring the updated consensus is a success. Signatories to the updated consensus are the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, National Integrity Action, Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, the Jamaica Council of Churches, Jamaicans for Justice, the MSME Alliance, Advocates Network, and the Small Business Association of Jamaica.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. 2 unidentified gunmen opened fire on a group of students on a rural campus of the University of Panama on Friday, killing 1 and wounding another before escaping. School officials say agricultural sciences students were doing field work at the university's regional center when the shooting took place. The reports are that a man approached a group of 6 first-year students around 11 a.m. and opened fire without saying a word. The shooter then jumped a fence and took off. But later, Police Deputy Commissioner Hector Delgado stated that there had been 2 shooters who arrived in a car before opening fire. The student killed has been identified as 27-year-old Alvaro Leones.
U.S. President Joe Biden has apologized to his counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky for delays in military aid to Ukraine. He has also pledged $225 million in support of the war-torn country. The pair met for talks in Paris a day after they both attended the 80th anniversary commemorations of the D-Day landings in Normandy, France. The U.S. Department of Defense said the new aid package would include ammunition and anti-aircraft missiles. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Biden said previous delays in assistance had been caused by some Republicans in Congress. In response, Zelensky stressed the importance of his country's relationship with the United States, saying it was crucial in the fight against Russia. Several countries, including the U.S., have given Ukraine the green light to strike targets inside Russia. After meeting Zelensky, Biden made a passionate speech at Pointe du Hoc, a site in Normandy where U.S. Army Rangers scaled a cliff to storm a Nazi stronghold on D-Day.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, IND Drive says the man arrested in connection with the abduction and possible murder of teacher Daniel Anglin is not one of its drivers.
But Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says it took the ban on rideshare companies for IND Drive to make contact.
It has taken the drastic action to bring these people to the table since we have been trying to contact them, including the police, in recent months with no success.
And Daniel Anglin's abduction has sparked fresh debate over whether the names on the Sexual Offenders Registry should be made public.
NWC to lift restrictions on corporate area communities served by the Hermitage and Constant Spring facilities.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by Fosrich Company Limited, fostering rich customer service.
Attention engine enthusiasts in Jamaica. Did you know that Lucalza Caribbean is the only authorized distributor of Chevron lubricants? Lucalza has been the trusted partner for Chevron lubricants in Jamaica for over 13 years, offering the full range of Chevron and Texaco products including Ursa, Haviland, Supreme, Delo and more. For peace of mind and superior engine care, trust the Chevron lubricants portfolio, distributed by Lucalza Caribbean and their network of reliable resellers. Don't compromise your engine performance. Drive with Chevron. Drive with confidence.
Some dreamers picture a place they call home, a house with no mortgage, a home that they own. Some dream of owning their very own store, meet a cafe or florist, or growing one into more. Where one dreams of making luxury shopping the norm, others dream of sports cars, the kind that perform. But one thing in common these dreamers all need is to build their wealth so they can achieve.
Never settle for less than your dreams with Sagicor Investments. Call 888-SAGICOR to speak with a wealth advisor.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The West Indies will look to secure their second consecutive win of the ICC T20 World Cup when they take on Uganda at the Providence Stadium in Guyana tomorrow. The teams are coming off victories in their openers, both over the same opponents, Papua New Guinea. The West Indies are odds-on to make it 2 in a row as they seek a third hold on the world title, while Uganda will look to build on their historic first-ever win at the World Cup. Ruston Chase, who starred in the win over Papua New Guinea, says the West Indies must limit the number of dot balls when they bat.
It's a World Cup, so you can't underestimate any team. Every team is as strong as any other team, so we just come in to play them full potential. But I just think for us, it's a case where we have to improve our dot ball percentage, especially in the middle overs. And the pitch is a difficult one that we played on in the first game, so I think it's a case where we just need to don't panic too quickly, just try to stabilize the middle overs, because we have a lot of power in the back end to kind of make up for it. So it's just a case where we just need to get a few singles more, ones into twos and stuff like that, and then just launch in the back end.
Chase points to the U.S. surprised win over Pakistan as evidence no team can be taken lightly.
It's a World Cup. Every team has come here to win, so you can't take any team lightly, because even in the first game that we played, we were on the back foot a bit, so it's clear to see that any team can win on the day, so you have to take every game very serious and go out there and play your best game every game.
Ruston Chase. Meanwhile, Canada beat Ireland by 12 runs in their Group A encounter at the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium in New York today. Batting first, Canada made 137 for 7 in their 20 overs. Nicholas Curtin made 49, he's a captain, and Shreyas Mova 37. Craig Young and Barry McCarthy bagged 2 wickets apiece. In response, the Irish made 125 for 7 in their 20 overs. Mark Adair made 34 and George Dockrell 30 not out. Jeremy Gordon and Dylan Liger grabbed 2 wickets apiece. Afghanistan will play New Zealand in Guyana, and Bangladesh will take on Sri Lanka in today's other games. Members of Jamaica's national senior men's football team are just about now touching down in Rousseau for Sunday's CONCACAF World Cup qualifier against Dominica at Windsor Park, and it's set to start at 2 o'clock Jamaica time in the afternoon. The team is coming off a 1-0 win over the Dominican Republic in their opening game at the National Stadium yesterday, thanks to a 17th-minute strike from Shamar Nicholson. The result puts Jamaica second in Group E on goal difference behind Guatemala, who crushed Dominica 6-0 in their opener on Wednesday. Coach Heimer Halgrimson says his strikers needed to be more clinical in front of goal against the Dom Rep.
We should have finished it off, but when you are winning 1-0, it is always uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable scoreline to be winning 1-0. It only needs a corner or a free kick and the ball goes in. So you never kind of feel relaxed. But we should have killed the game off with the chances we got. But apart from this, it was well below par, whatever you say, not good enough. And we can do much better than we did today. But given a lot of these players are coming back from not playing, it was kind of given that some of them would not be ready for a competitive match right away.
According to Hamel Halgrimson, the Dominican Republic did nothing surprising.
We spent a lot of time analyzing Dominican Republic from the first day the coach came. You could see the progress, and I give him a lot of credit for the job he has been doing. I think the team is getting more compact. He has clever players on the ball, and the only thing that is missing in his key is scoring goals. It's been a little bit lacking, but on the ball, in movements, defensively, they're quite compact and always improving. And I have to give him a lot of credit.
Jamaica's coach, Hemi Halgrimson. Canada's former Olympic 100 meters champion and world record holder Donovan Bailey says Oblique Seville's win in the men's 100 meters at the Racers Grand Prix was a warning to the male sprinting fraternity that he'll be one of the contenders in Paris. Bailey, who was born in Jamaica, says Seville demonstrated perfect execution in beating the world champion Noah Lyles in setting a world-leading and lifetime best 9.82 seconds.
He popped out of the blocks and he executed perfectly in his transitions. That allowed him to be so comfortable to look over at Noah, for the last bit. So yeah, this is definitely sending a message. And we're talking about just these two. Remember that there was probably 3 people in the race that are sub 10 global sprinters. So this is no slouch, but it is a one race Diamond League or permit meet. It's going to show a lot between the athletes' mental preparation, what rounds will do to them when they get to the games. But, this was obviously our race of the week.
Bailey says Seville's win has reignited the rivalry in male sprinting between Jamaica and the USA.
Now, Oblique's definitely got some big shoes to fill, because now becomes consistency. And Noah's been speaking all year, and again, rightfully so, he's been the number one guy. Oblique now has to show up at trials and get ready for Paris. And obviously, we've spoken about Oblique. I actually thought that at the World Championships last year, he would have actually made the podium because he was running so smoothly. And his coach, Glenn Mills, must know something. This guy is on the exact same, training program that Usain is, obviously much shorter in stature.
Donovan Bailey, and it's now time for the Nationwide Olympic Fact. It's sponsored by Juicy Patties.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
Did you know that Elaine Thompson-Hera is the first woman to win the sprint double at consecutive Olympics? Yes, that's a fact. Elaine Thompson-Herah won the 100 and 200 meters at the 2016 Rio Olympics before repeating the feat at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts. Brought to you by Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:30.
You didn't know that the government decreased JUTC bus fares? Yes, it's now 70 for adults, 25 for children, and 30 for pensioners. And in April, fares will go down even further to 50 for adults, 20 for children, and 25 for pensioners.
The temperature by the office of the Prime Minister is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Straight from the rock so it flows. Enjoy life letting go. Feel the breeze, mountain reach, water clean, nature green. Everything's good with Catherine's feet. Rain or sun is shining, Mother Nature's blessings. Nature green, everything's good with Catherine's feet.
The Development Bank of Jamaica wants to see more businesses, more job creation, and better opportunities for people across Jamaica. That's why since day one, we've been dedicated to facilitating economic growth and development across all sectors, while providing funding and technical assistance to MSMEs, projects, and other businesses through our strong partnerships. Because helping to build better businesses helps to build a better Jamaican economy for everyone. Visit us at dbankjm.com for more info. DBJ, the business builder.
This outstanding 6'4" athlete credits Jamaica with her first Olympic victory ever.
Jamaica is filled with Olympians.
World record holder McKinley dashes into the lead.
We must never forget the forerunners of Jamaican Olympic greatness.
Coming into the home stretch, it's Wint who challenges the leader.
Win or lose, athletes never forget their Olympic experience.
Early Nocky has devastated another world-class field. And Hemmings is going to do it. Hemmings wins it. She's the champion.
Win or lose, Jamaicans will cheer the loudest at the Olympics so that the world will never forget who we are.
And Usain Bolt is moving away. And Jamaica retained their title. And the world record has been taken apart. Oh, I say.
From July 26 to August 11, tune in only to Nationwide 90 FM for the coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because we're here to ensure that you never forget. Nationwide's coverage is powered by our bronze sponsors: National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, Grace Foods, Spirits of Jamaica, Imperial Optical Jamaica, and Rainforest Caribbean.
Good afternoon to you listeners. It's 5:35 this Friday afternoon. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
How was we too?
Let's get into the cover story, Sir Brooks.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good afternoon to you if you're joining us on radio. Good afternoon to you if you're joining us on the app. And hello to our friends on YouTube. All right. So this afternoon, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, he says he has directed the ministry's legal team to review existing legislation to determine whether information about convicted sex offenders can be shared more broadly.
The law currently allows for select institutions to be advised of details about convicted offenders upon request. These institutions include schools. But in a statement on Friday morning, Dr. Chang says a review has become necessary amid public calls for the list of stakeholders with access to the information to be widened.
The National Security Minister says the objective is to ensure that the Jamaican public has the requisite information to allow them to take safety precautions. There have been calls on social media to have the registry made public after it was revealed that a convicted sex offender is in custody in connection with the disappearance of 29-year-old teacher Daniel Anglin.
Ms. Anglin has been missing since May 13. She was last seen on her way to work sometime after 5 a.m. that day. Ms. Anglin, who lives in Helsher, St. Catherine, reportedly took an IND Drive taxi. Skeletal remains believed to be those of Ms. Anglin were found in Salt River, Clarendon on Monday. This afternoon on the cover story, we want to look at the pros and cons of having the sex offender registry being made available to the public. For that discussion, we're being joined by President of the PNP Patriots, Christopher Henry, and Government Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners and to your other guests.
Thank you. Senator,
afternoon, Senator.
Senator, let me start with you. To your mind, are there any interests that need to be balanced when coming to a decision as to whether the registry should be made public?
Well, we always have to have a balance when we're delivering justice, because at the end of the day, this is what we're contemplating. And also, as much as possible, curbing the behavior that can be so very damaging, not just to the individual, but to the society. But we have to definitely strike a balance with respect to the persons, all persons in the society, including the offender. And where that balance creates an avenue for reoffense, I think that we have to be extra cautious in preventing such.
And Christopher Henry, where do you stand on that matter of where should the line be drawn?
To our mind, I think the line should be drawn in relation to the how far or what is the nature of the crime. I know that most sexual offenses are of a nature that are very heinous, very terrible. But I agree with the Senator to an extent that we should consider reoffense, etc.
So, in other words, those names, if I'm understanding it correctly, those names that should be made public are those who reoffend?
I think so. I think that is part of the solution, as well as I said earlier, the heinousness of the crime. In terms of those names should be made public as well in any background check, etc. Because those persons should serve as a deterrent so that those crimes should not be committed in a sense.
And Senator, one of the concerns you hear is that, making such a thing public could lend itself to vigilante, jungle justice in various communities across Jamaica. How would we treat with something like that?
Let's kind of take a step back a little bit. One of the main reasons we are even contemplating this is that when we are aware as a public as to what an offender has done, there is a sense of justice that is delivered. And when I keep bringing justice to the fore, is that persons tend to be angry when there is no sense of justice. If someone gets traumatized in some way, one of the last things, and coming from my professional background, when I deal with persons who have been traumatized by other individuals, one of the things that lingers with them and causes significant psychological damage is the sense of a lack of justice that is to be met out. Now, when you speak to vigilante reactions, if the public that would engage in such knows that there is forthcoming justice that tendency to vigilantism may actually be lessened because them know so the system will deal with them in the proper way. Now, my colleague who just mentioned the heinousness of the act, what I think we could also consider, to put it probably in another context, is a tiered approach to the offenses and to the level of publication of said offenders. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, you remember when we used to have, and I have said it publicly in other spaces, especially when it comes on to our children.
Yes.
I think there is absolutely no line that should be drawn when it comes to the protection of our children, and that's a paradigm that I would always operate from. And when you used to have public flogging, it worked because there's a sense of awareness, there's a sense of shame that goes with it. And that in and of itself gives a sense of justice. It goes the counter way. If someone knows they can get away with something and go along quietly, they can reoffend.
All right, so I hear you on that sense of justice. I think that's a very important point. But I just want to pin down that matter of the vigilante reaction. So you're saying that you think that if the system gets better at catching those who perpetuate vigilante actions, then they may be deterred from it. If
the public knows that due justice will be delivered.
But in the situation that we have now, Senator, a lot of these crimes, oftentimes you can't find who the perpetrator is or the perpetrators are. The community is silent because they believe they have delivered justice.
Well, then, you see, if the persons in the community don't feel that the individual is going to get the due justice, they're going to feel to deliver it themselves. There's a lot of anger. A lot of persons may in that occurrence in their community may trigger something that happened to them themselves. Mm-hmm. You don't know what causes that type of reaction. And so we have to, when in a place of government, we have to consider all levels of where that sense of justice needs to be delivered.
Christopher Henry, outside of making the list essentially available to the public, would as the minister put forward that this Dr. Chang, a widening of those who have access to it, to what extent would you support that widening in terms of which agencies do you believe should have access to the registry?
Well, obviously, I want it as wide as possible. I think that the public on a whole should have access to the registry. I think what needs to be put in place is certain protocols in the access. For example, I would appreciate that the request for the information comes from somebody credible. They prove that there is a reason for the information, etc. And for example, if in our recent situation with the ride-sharing apps, the company is registered in Jamaica, is doing a background check, this person has applied, and they state the reason for applying. I don't want it just to be a free-for-all situation that, yes, okay, we can get the information, but there needs to be specific reasons for it. But the access is there, if you're understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hang on there, Senator and Mr. Henry. We are up on the break.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:44.
Fast, friendly service? Check. Delicious chicken? Check. Get Quick Chick. Drive-through available at 29 Grand Spen Road. Great taste without the wait. The temperature by Quick Chick is
30 degrees Celsius here in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure. Reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams. every day helping you succeed. That's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
The Transport Authority is asking all ride-sharing or ride-hailing companies to contact the office urgently by calling 876-277-9671. A message from the Transport Authority.
The Office of the Information Commissioner, OIC, is Jamaica's data protection regulator. We're here to ensure large and small, public and private data controllers comply with the Data Protection Act. All data controllers must register with the OIC and process personal data in accordance with the law. Help us create a data-safe society for all. For more information, call us at 876-929-6952. Visit our website at oic.gov.jm. The OIC, your data, your rights protected.
Welcome back to the cover story as we discuss the pros and cons of having the sex offender registry being made public. We are talking with President of the PNP Patriots, Christopher Henry, and Government Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore. Dr. Longmore, to you, I heard you speaking about balancing the interests of justice both on the part of the public, the victim, and the offender themselves. So I want to ask you then, because there are many Jamaicans who feel that knowing who these offenders are is important in terms of protecting themselves and their families. But at what point do we say that the offender has a right to privacy, or at least having no served their sentence, served their crime, should have the right to essentially get on with their life?
So as long as the victim no longer is affected by the act, which almost invariably is a lifetime affliction, this is why I suggested that it should be a tiered approach to the level of the sexual offense. At the end of the day, I think, realistically speaking, if somebody urinates in public, they could be theoretically charged for a sexual offense in terms of exposure, yes. In terms of indecent exposure. Should that person remain on a sexual offense list for the rest of their life compared to someone who buggers a child? No. So there needs to be a tiered approach, I think, in terms of the level of acts, but there should be a minimum time of exposure that is determined by our system to say, okay, this tier of offense, it would be for this level of time of exposure. And likewise, some acts, there should be no time limit. They should be there for life because of what they have done. And so I think there is, again, a balance that can be had. We do recognize that the offenders can be rehabilitated. That is true. And there is some amount of recovery that can be had. But for some crimes, and I repeat, especially against our children, there should be no limit on that.
Mm-hmm. And I want to hear you, Christopher, on that point of rehabilitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that the senator has hit my views exactly. We have to send a message, and it has to be a message that these crimes, there is zero tolerance for these sort of crimes, especially in relation to children. I think also I'd like to add to that in terms of the expungement. There could be a time limit placed on the, for want of a better word, lesser crimes, such as the indecent exposure, for it to stay on the registry. And once it passes the registry, instead of the person having to, once it passes the time frame, instead of the person having to go through the formal expungement, the law provides that it will naturally be deleted or removed from the registry. But as the Senator said, crimes involving children, heinous rapes, etc., they should stay on it for life. I don't think there is any sort of room or negotiation for any sort of reprieve to those individuals. You've basically violated an entire human being. And for life, as the Senator said, that they'll never probably get over it.
Mm-hmm. And it must be a difficult question for legislators, because it's a small country. there is a lot of public angst about sexual crimes, especially particularly against children and girls. But then as a legislator, when you go, Dr. Longmore, to sit and make such a decision, how do you determine where you come down?
We have to consider all the input of all stakeholders. And this is why I say that, I mean, it is not a singular decision. We have to consider the factors that lead to recidivism. We have to consider the factor that leads to rehabilitation. And we have to strike the balance. So my view might be such, I have to listen to the person who says, well, you know, Sapphire, look, the person after 30, 40 years may have never offended, may show that, and I have to listen to that. But at the same time, we are at a point in our history where we are seeing reflections of significant generational traumas. We're seeing the repercussions of it. We have to do something, I think, that reflects a level of enough is enough, and we are at a point where we are seeking to move in positive ways. We're not going to stop you from living your life. But the fact is that your conviction would have been a public conviction, you know.
Yes.
I would imagine. The court process is public.
Yes.
So it is public knowledge. It's not a matter where. It's a matter we're seeking to organize it because of the risk that it poses for a repeat of the offenses. We recognize the severity of that. So we also need to recognize the severity. In a situation like that, may I even propose, because I always try to sometimes find something out of the box. May I propose that even the person who has had that heinous act or that child be the determinant, or the family of that person be the determinant of when the offender's list comes off. After a minimum amount of years, 30, 40 years, contact that individual and say, you recover good and good now? Yes, okay. After maybe that with no history of any reoffending, perhaps then.
If I could just ask Christopher Siobhan, and Chris, do you think, because I hear the senator, do you think such a thing could then, in and of itself, serve as a deterrent for those who would want to perpetrate those kinds of sexual crimes?
Of course. I think it would serve as a hell of a deterrent because it's going to affect your entire life. You're going to carry out a crime that you know that you're going to stay on a registry. Every time everybody do a background check, it's going to come up. You're never going to get a proper job, or you're never going to get a job that is, you're going to be basically blacklisted. You'll probably end up outside kicking rocks, to just use the terminology. It will serve as a deterrent, and I want to speak to what the senator just said in relation to the family. The family, and she, as a trained clinical psychologist, correct me if I'm wrong, will know that the family is scarred in this matter too. So there probably will never be any forgiveness from either the person who has been hurt or the family.
Yes.
So they have to live with all of that. This will serve as a deterrent. So when you're considering to do this act, you will immediately remember once this is publicized that my whole life I'm gonna mash up if me do this. So yeah, it's a severe deterrent.
Dr. Longmore, and then to you, Christopher Henry, but you first, Dr. Longmore. A part of rehabilitation is, of course, gainful employment. And while we know, when you're on that registry, certainly you're barred from certain professions that have to do with children. But if going further and making that list public now, one could essentially say that individual would be barred from any profession, because I find it highly unlikely that anyone would hire a sex offender for very many few jobs if they found out that that person is on the sex offenders registry. So isn't that the act of making it now public essentially narrowing the ability for a former offender to rehabilitate?
So wouldn't that be a wonderful deterrent to not do it? Isn't that the objective?
I take that point. I take that point.
I mean, I'm not trying to sound callous, but we've gotten past the point where they have offended to the point where we're hoping they can now be rehabilitated.
Remember, I'm the therapist around the table here, you know.
Yes.
So I am very much about rehabilitation.
Yes,
but rehabilitation can happen in many, many ways. There are many occupations that can be had that does not involve interaction or direct interaction with other human beings, especially in today's society. That's the truth of the matter.
Yes.
You have many farms. You have many lands that can be farmed, that can become very, very, very productive if you are out there, quite therapeutic. But the point is that, and if I may just reflect on what you asked the other guest, the fact is that public awareness works. People will seek and will have it is if the behavior can be hidden and someone knows that they can get away with it, it is much likely and much more likely for it to be repeated. And not just by the individual, but by copycats, by other individuals who will look on and say, you know what, I can get away with this. It works the other way too.
Yes.
So if someone publicly recognizes, rotted, look what happened to that one. It is a deterrent, and the fact is that we have to stop passing along the ball to say, all right, where's the balance? The balance should be on the protection of the innocent and allowing persons to be able to feel safe in their space. But if you have the tiered system, someone who kind of got themselves caught up in something, they can demonstrate that they have been rehabilitated and eventually probably get their name expunged.
Yeah.
And I'd want to add to that as well, in that when you've been convicted of any crime, there's certain rights that you have given up. So this balancing act, as the good senator said, needs to lie in favor of the person who has been the
violated
victim of the crime.
Yeah.
Yes, has been violated.
Yeah. Yeah, I can take that point. I didn't consider the tiered approach. And yeah, I'd put it to you, Senator, that if and when it comes before you in the upper house, that would be I think as fair a balance as one could strike.
I think so, and I think I mean just to say that the severity of which we recognize this issue, the immediate block that has been placed on the rideshare service. Yes. We understand and recognize that, yes, there's an income generated, but the fact of the matter is, a innocent life has been lost in likely very horrible ways.
Yes.
We cannot, with any responsibility, have any semblance of that happening. And again, that copycat scenario is one that is very, very real. So let us pause, let us seek to get it right before we cause any further harm.
Yeah. Dr. Sophia Longmore, Government Senator Christopher Henry, President of the PNP Patriots, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for
welcome.
me.
Yeah,
You're very welcome.
Yeah. I definitely support a tiered approach because, for example, I didn't consider the thing like public urination and how that's indecent exposure. But I agree. You have to balance those things on the side of the victim because some people never, ever, ever recover from the trauma that, being violated causes them.
And the senator is right there, as well as Mr. Henry, that, after you've committed such a heinous crime, you have essentially given up certain rights and privileges that would have been accorded you as a standard law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, and we talk about all the time breaking the silence, yeah? Perhaps part of breaking the silence is to expose people who engage in this kind of reprehensible conduct. Yeah? But the debate will continue, I'm sure. Up next, the headlines.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6. Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. International ride-hailing service IND Drive says the Jamaican man arrested in connection with the abduction and possible murder of primary school teacher Daniel Anglin is not one of its affiliates. The company made the revelation in a letter to Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. Dana Davey reports.
In a social media post Friday morning, Minister Vaz disclosed that IND Drive, through its Central America Government Relations Manager, Jose Manuel Gandaria, has contacted the Transport Ministry. This follows Vaz's announcement on Tuesday of a ban on all app-based rideshare companies. The ban was imposed following the arrest of a man, reportedly a driver under the IND Drive banner, in connection with the abduction and murder of primary school teacher Daniel Anglin. In the letter dated June 6, Gandaria says he is aware of the incident involving Miss Anglin. He says he has been in close communication with the lead investigator of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to ensure the company provides the necessary support. But in a major development, Gandaria says the person of interest in the case was not offering his services on the IND Drive platform. That's a significant point. It's significant because the narrative from the police suggested that the person of interest came into contact with Miss Anglin after she hired his services as an IND Drive taxi operator. Gandaria also notes that Miss Anglin last used the IND Drive app several days before her disappearance. Turning to the ban on all rideshare apps in Jamaica, Gandaria says the company will be seeking a meeting with Minister Vaz to discuss various approaches to resolving the safety concerns. Minister Vaz says it's regrettable that IND Drive is only now wanting to talk to the government.
I can confirm receipt of a letter of yesterday addressed to me as Minister from the representatives of IND Drive requesting a meeting which I will grant, but I must note that it has taken the drastic action to bring these people to the table since we have been trying to contact them, including the police, in recent months with no success.
Minister Vaz says IND Drive and similar companies must abide by Jamaica's laws.
I want to make it very clear that Jamaica is a sovereign country and that no company, despite its size, magnitude, or financial success, will be allowed to disregard our rules and regulations and communication with the relevant authorities. I'm happy that this has happened, but I'm very sorry that it had to take the action that I was forced to take in order to bring IND Drive to the table. Thankfully now we have all rideshare, both local and international, in contact with us, and this will make it that much easier for us to work out the safety and regulatory matters and get everybody back on track.
IND Drive is headquartered in Mountain View, California, and is the second largest ride-sharing and taxi app worldwide by download. It operates in more than 700 cities in over 45 countries. The app allows users to upload basic information about themselves as well as their vehicle information, which includes photos, insurance, and a visible license plate number. Commuters who use the app are required to upload basic information accompanied by a photo. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Transport Minister Darrell Vaz has received a preliminary report into Thursday's incident at Norman Manley International Airport, which saw an aircraft overshooting the runway.
I can confirm that as Minister I have received a preliminary report from the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority in relation to the incident involving the American Airlines flight into Norman Manley International Airport last night. The runway excursion is considered a serious incident based on the fact that the airplane departed off of the runway at some stage of the landing, which caused significant damage to the aircraft and minor damage to the airport, the airstrip lighting.
It's understood the flight AA850 was entering Kingston from Miami during heavy rain. The pilot reportedly circled the airport for several minutes before attempting the landing. The aircraft sustained damage to its engine fan blades, landing gear, and tires.
The Jamaica Civil Aviation has launched an official investigation into this matter, as well as the American Airlines. My understanding is that both teams have visited the site today, and I'll get a further update as things unfold. I'm happy to know that there's no injury reported up to this point, and for that we give thanks.
Darrell Vaz, the Transport Minister. A St. Elizabeth farmer and construction worker who is charged in a 2022 rape case was remanded when he appeared in the parish court on Wednesday. 35-year-old O'Dane Lee, otherwise called New Money, is set to return to court on June 17. Reports are that on Friday, August 12, 2022, Lee offered a woman a ride home. The complainant got into the motor vehicle with Lee and the driver aboard. While transporting her home, the driver diverted to a sports complex where Lee reportedly pulled her from the vehicle and sexually assaulted her. Lee was subsequently arrested on May 30, 2024, after returning to the island from overseas. The National Water Commission, NWC, says it will on Saturday lift restrictions on customers served by the Hermitage and Constant Spring facilities. More in this report. The restrictions on water supply in the corporate area were imposed in April amid persistent drought conditions. But over 1 month later, the NWC says the storage levels at the Hermitage Dam in St. Andrew are improving. The NWC says the customers will be able to enjoy 24-hour water supply starting Saturday, June 8. The water company disclosed that as of Friday, storage levels at the Hermitage Dam stood at 90.3%. That's the equivalent to 355 million gallons of water. At the time of the restrictions, the volume at the dam stood at 71.4%. NWC says increased rainfall over the past several days accounted for the rise in water inflows at the facility. However, there's been a decline in the volume at the Mona Reservoir. As at June 6, the reservoir stood at 71.4%, or 576 million gallons. That's a decline from the 600 million gallons recorded in April. The NWC says the restriction will be lifted for all areas served by the Hermitage and Constant Spring systems. However, it's urging customers to be conscious of their water use and conserve where possible. The Commission also expressed appreciation to its customers for their patience during the weeks of regulations. Shaloy. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. Sports is next.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration land surveys also included, affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Building wealth the smart way means you have a clear mission for your money. Specific and measurable means defining the reason for your financial goals. Achievable and realistic means keeping those goals meaningful, yet attainable. Think more retirement, less world's richest. Timely means keeping a time frame in mind so that all efforts remain focused.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby. We bowl things off with cricket, as West Indies will look to secure their second consecutive win of the ICC T20 World Cup when they take on Uganda at the Providence Stadium in Guyana tomorrow. Both teams are coming off victories in their openers, both over the same opponents, Papua New Guinea. The West Indies are odds on to make it 2 in a row as they seek a third hold on the world title, while Uganda will look to build on their historic first ever win at the World Cup. Ruston Chase, who starred in the win over Papua New Guinea, says the West Indies must limit the number of dot balls when they bat.
It's a World Cup, so you can't underestimate any team. Every team is as strong as any other team, so we just come in to play them full potential. But I just think for us, it's a case where we have to improve our dot ball percentage, especially in the middle overs. The pitch is a difficult one that we played on in the first game, so I think it's a case where we just need to don't panic too quickly, just try to stabilize the middle overs, because we have a lot of power in the back end to kind of make up for it. So it's just a case where we just need to get a few singles more, ones into twos and stuff like that, and then just launch in the back end.
He points to the U.S. surprise win over Pakistan as evidence no team can be taken lightly.
It's a World Cup. Every team has come here to win, so you can't take any team lightly, because even in the first game that we played, we were on the back foot a bit, so it's clear to see that any team can win on the day, so you have to take every game very serious and go out there and play your best game every game.
Ruston Chase. Meanwhile, Canada beat Ireland by 12 runs in their Group A encounter at the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium in New York today. Batting first, Canada made 137 for 7 off their 20 overs. Nicholas Curtin made 49 and Shreyas Mova 37. Craig Young and Barry McCarthy bagged 2 wickets each for Ireland. In reply, Ireland made 125 for 7 off their 20 overs. Mark Adair made 34 and George Dockrell 30 not out. Jeremy Gordon and Dylan Hayliger grabbed 2 wickets each for Canada. Afghanistan play New Zealand in Guyana, while Bangladesh take on Sri Lanka in today's other matches. Now to track and field, Jamaican sprint star Elaine Thompson-Herah will make her second competitive appearance for the season when she competes at the USTF New York City Grand Prix on Sunday. Thompson-Herah will run in the women's 100 meters at the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold meeting. Thompson-Herah, who won the 100 and 200 meters double at the past 2 Olympic Games, opened her season last month at the Wonder Diamond League meeting in Eugene, where she clocked 11.30 seconds in the 100 meters to finish 9th, her lowest ever placing in a race. But the 31-year-old is looking to improve with the national championships less than 2 weeks away. 16 other Jamaicans are down to compete, including Kieran McLeod, Daniel Williams, Rashid Broadbell, Zandrian Barnes, Chandra Davison, Kadrian Golson, Jonelle Bromfield, Stacey Williams, Ashanti Moore, Frederick Dakers, and Jadine Williams. Canada's former Olympic 100 meters champion and world record holder Donovan Bailey says Oblique Seville's win in the men's 100 meters at the Racers Grand Prix was a warning to the male sprint world that he'll be one of the contenders at the Paris Olympics. Bailey, who was born in Jamaica, says Seville demonstrated perfect execution in beating world champion Noah Lyles, setting a world-leading and lifetime best 9.82 seconds.
He popped out of the blocks and he executed perfectly in his transitions. That allowed him to be so comfortable to look over at Noah, for the last bit. So yeah, this is definitely sending a message. And we're talking about just these two. Remember that there was probably 3 people in the race that are sub 10 global sprinters. So this is no slouch, but it is a one race Diamond League or permit meet. It's going to show a lot between the athletes' mental preparation, what rounds will do to them when they get to the games. But, this was obviously our race of the week.
Bailey says Seville's triumph has reignited the rivalry in male sprinting between Jamaica and the USA.
Now, Oblique's definitely got some big shoes to fill because now it becomes consistency. Noah's been speaking all year, and again, rightfully so, he's been the number one guy. Oblique now has to show up at trials and get ready for Paris. And obviously, we've spoken about Oblique. I actually thought that at the World Championships last year, he would have actually made the podium because he was running so smoothly. And his coach, Glenn Mills, must know something. This guy is on the exact same, training program that Usain is, obviously much shorter in stature.
Donovan Bailey. Now, a number of Jamaican teams will be in action over the weekend at the popular Miami Classic track and field meet scheduled for Traz Powell Stadium. The meet will be held over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Organizer Alan Holt says all is in place for a successful staging. This is the 48th staging, and Holt is looking forward to a meet that has produced several world and Olympic champions.
We dreamed of creating cultural exchanges, creating international exposure for kids as young as 4 years old to get a chance to compete against others around the world. And we launched it, as I said, 40 years ago, and it was very successful. And over the years, we've seen Olympians, world champions, national champions come through our program, representing countries, Jamaica, U.S., Bahamas, Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, and many states across the U.S. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience for 48 years.
Alan Holt. Now on to football, as members of Jamaica's national senior men's football team have landed in Roseau for Sunday's CONCACAF World Cup qualifier against Dominica at Windsor Park starting at 2 p.m. Jamaica time. The team is coming off a 1-0 win over the Dominican Republic in their opening game at the National Stadium yesterday, thanks to a 17th-minute strike from Samar Nicholson. The result puts Jamaica second in Group E on goal difference behind Guatemala, who crushed Dominica 6-0 in their opener on Wednesday. Coach Hemir Helgrimson says his strikers needed to be more clinical in front of goal against Don Rep.
We should have finished it off, but when you are winning 1-0, it is always uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable scoreline to be winning 1-0. It only needs a corner or a free kick and the ball goes in. So you never kind of feel relaxed, but we should have killed the game off with the chances we got. But apart from this, it was well below par, whatever you say, not good enough. And we can do much better than we did today. But given a lot of these players are coming back from not playing, it was kind of given that some of them would not be ready for a competitive match right away.
He says the Dominican Republic did nothing surprising.
We spent a lot of time analyzing Dominican Republic from the first day the coach came. You could see the progress, and I give him a lot of credit for the job he has been doing. I think the team is getting more compact. It has clever players on the ball, and the only thing that is missing in his key is scoring goals. It's been a little bit lacking, but on the ball, in movements, defensively, they're quite compact and always improving. And I have to give him a lot of credit.
Hemir Halgrimson. Jamaica Premier League champions Cavalier and the runners-up Mount Pleasant were drawn in the same group for the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup between August and December. The Jamaican clubs will play in Group A along with Real Hope, Messalina's Police, FC and CFU Club Shield champions. Group B will feature Sierboa, Mocha, Kwanmithi, AC Port of Spain and the CFU Club Shield runners-up. Jamaica's Fraser's Whip were drawn in Group A of the CONCACAF Women's Champions Cup. They are joined by Gotham FC, Tigress, Monterey and LD Alianes. Group B include San Diego Wave, Portland Thorns, Club America, Santa Fe FC and the preliminary round winner. The tournament will run from August 2024 to May 2025. The Champions Cup is the sole pathway through which CONCACAF clubs can qualify for the new FIFA Women's Club World Cup. FIFA recently announced that the first edition will feature 16 clubs and be played between January and February 2026. Clifton Johnson, Dane Hudson, and George Hugh walked away with the top awards at the 17th MCOBA Linda Della Penna Golf Tournament held at the Caymanas Golf and Country Club. Johnson was named the overall winner after tallying 44 points in the Stableford format. Hudson, who was the women's champion, tallied 38 points, while Hugh, the super senior men's champion, tallied 41 points. Johnson won for himself a weekend for two at the Half Moon Hotel and a gift basket from Carimed. Hudson won a weekend for two at the Spanish Coast Hotel and a gift basket from Carimed, while Hugh won a weekend for two at Jamaica Inn. Damian Chung was first in the men and senior men's category with 42 points. Tournament manager Telroy Morgan, who also participated in the tournament, said this staging was the most successful one yet. And we close our sports with our Olympic facts, and it's sponsored by Rainforest Caribbean.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Did you know that the Olympic torch is a reminder of the game's Greek origins? Yes, that's a fact. In ancient times, a flame burned throughout the games as a tribute to the goddess Hestia. Since 1928, this tradition has continued in the modern games. But instead of an altar, the flame burns in a special torch. The torch flame is always lit by the sun in Olympia, Greece, as this is where the first Greek games was held. Then it's passed from torch to torch in a massive international relay that ends in the host city.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Okay, there you have it, Nationwide's Olympic Fact, sponsored by Rainforest Caribbean. I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:22.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
To seize opportunities on your business horizon, you need tailored financing solutions from a partner that takes the time to understand your business. Sagicor Investments. We offer mid-sized to large corporations the debt and equity financing solutions they need to drive growth. Backed by the strength of Sagicor Group, one of the largest financial conglomerates in the region, you can be confident that we will deliver. Make your business move with Sagicor Investments. Contact our capital markets unit at 888 Sagicor.
Azen Super Center in Midtown Crossroads, a place you've come to know and trust for quality and the best prices. Now, come see our expanded range of products, fine furnishings, kitchenware, your smart TVs, and all things electronics, and the latest in curtains, bed linen, and bathroom accessories. It's the new and expanded Azen Super Center in Midtown Crossroads with convenient, safe, and free parking. Shop with a smile at Azen Super Center.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robian Williams. It's a Friday evening. Yep. TGIF edition of the Public Opinion. We want to say good evening to our YouTubers. We invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. You know, a whole heap of hard-hitting news we give you throughout the week, and on a Friday we want to take it down a notch. We want to give you some light-hearted questions. That's what we aim to do here in our Public Opinion on a Friday. And we've been getting a lot of rains, yeah? Especially in the Kingston corporate area, southern parishes, you know, we've been getting a lot of rains. And we welcome it, you know, because there are times when a place dry and we are ball, say time, utter, all kind of, you know, and comfort. You know what I mean. But we're getting the rains and we welcome it. Friday night, which is tonight, cloudy with occasional isolated showers according to the Met Office. Into Saturday morning, it will be partly cloudy across eastern parishes, becoming sunny elsewhere. In the afternoon Saturday, you know, we can expect isolated showers and possible thunderstorms mainly across western parishes. So with all this rain, all the rain we have fall, in public opinion we're asking, where you like to eat when rain a fall?
Some dumpling and chicken back. Some dumpling and curry chicken back in the rain. That people want food in the house and rain a fall.
Curry chicken or chicken back with dumpling and banana. That's all you do in them rain season you have to.
When it rain, my favorite thing to eat, as soon as me say rain set up, a porridge. Any one of the porridge them. Cornmeal porridge, rice porridge, any porridge. Just have some coconut milk in it. Coconut milk with cornmeal porridge. That hit the spot, man.
I can't tell you that, man. It's not fit for your play.
Whoa, all right. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion, and we ask you when rain a fall, what you like for eat, you know? What you eat when rain a fall? Because you know, so when rain a fall and you're hungry and one nice thing, you know? So we're asking what you like for eat. On our X platform, let me see if I can get in some comments. Tevin Johnson says white flour dumpling and bully beef or salt mackerel. And this comment says I decline to answer on a public platform. All right. Blazing Fire says when it's raining and breeze blowing, nothing nicer than fritters with lemon or mint tea. Beauty with Soul says cornmeal porridge with crackers or bread broke up in there. Hey, the bread broke up something there, in a porridge. I know about that one. DJ says curry chicken back, well peppery and boiled food. If you know anything at all about me, I love the peppery food. Me and Pepper have a good relationship. Maja says curry chicken and cornmeal dumplings. Treasure Isle is saying dumpling is a must, and any meat kind is fine. Okay. I don't know why people think they have to eat dumpling. Like in a rain, although people tend to eat heavy food, during when it's raining, I suppose. On our Facebook platform, George Elliott says green gungo pea soup with yellow yam and dumpling. Okay. Philip Jackson says anything that strike your appetite in the moment. Belly full is all that matters. Yeah. When your belly full, when it's raining, you have to ensure it's a food in the house. Food have in the house. Michael Henry says used to curry 5 pound of chicken back with cornmeal dumplings with whatever ground provision that could be found. But no poverty struck, can't even afford chicken back. Well, I tell you, food have to eat, all when everything I go up, food have to eat. Michael Vaughn says pea soup with pigtail. Sharon Morris says salt mackerel run down with yam dumpling and banana. And Audley Phillip is just saying food. In a matter, but food. Bowen Carleen is saying curry chicken back with dumpling, yam and banana. And I'm getting a lot of curry. I feel like curry I take the lead because a pure curry me I hear about. Michelle Bernard says a bucket of ripe, juicy, common mango. Can you imagine rain or fall, you just sit down over a bucket of mango, you just eat? Yeah. That doesn't sound bad at all. Pamela Bennett says fried dumpling and tin mackerel. That have a buzz too, The fried dumpling and tin mackerel have a buzz. Marcia is saying stew peas with pig's tail, chicken foot and neck, or ackee and saltfish with sweet potato, yellow yam and cornmeal dumpling. And we'll eat that. That's a whole lot. Maxine is saying red pea soup, chicken foot, cornmeal dumplings, yam, breadfruit, a whole heap of food them there. Eat heavy out there. Beverly Bart says chicken foot soup with cornmeal dumplings. All right, let me just quickly run to our YouTube because I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in. Jacqueline Thomas says dumpling, sweet potato, soft yam, and steamed fish. If you're joining us, we're inside the TGIF edition of Public Opinion, and we ask you, what you like to eat when rain a fall? We've been getting some rains, and we welcome them. We welcome it, rather. Kirk Buchanan says red pea soup with yellow yam and dumpling. Rose Chin says chicken soup. Baby Toy is saying tin mackerel and dumplings straight. I'll tell you about that tin mackerel something there. Master Jam says curry chicken with banana and cornmeal dumplings. Noel Christie. Noel Christie is easing back with some chicken foot soup. Carlene Smith is also saying soup. Okay. Shin's Law Boss says cornmeal dumpling. Hog? Wow. Me nah say pork, so hog and cornmeal dumpling with sweet potatoes and yam. That not bad at all. That not sound bad. Nigel Frere saying red pea soup with pigtail, cornmeal dumplings and yellow yam. All right. Ursuline Bowen says beef bone, gungo soup. With me not knowing about soup in the rain, maybe because I don't eat a lot of food in my soup. So soup in the rain is kind of, and soup is always an appetizer for me because I'm hungry after. D Muse says steamed fish with yellow yam and cornmeal dumpling. Don't sound bad at all. Don't sound bad at all. Let me see if I can get in some more. Sandra Murray saying rain call for soup. Yeah, rain call for soup. Richard says ital soup with coconut milk. Would you look at that? All right, so the comments on our Instagram saying curry chicken back with dumpling, banana, sweet potato. That's coming from Williams Chantel. Me know, but all right. So the curry chicken and the soup. I feel like curry chicken and curry chicken back and soup is what most people are saying. That's their go-to food in the rain. Curry chicken back. Listen to this. Curry chicken back. 7 dumplings. Yam. 4 banana. Crushed Irish with a big ripe pepper and a big ocean spray. Wow, that is a lot. That is a lot. But no shame in your game if you eat 7 dumpling and 4 banana. No shame in your game. Rennie Boo is saying red peas soup with beef or pigtail. Seeing a whole lot of curry chicken here, curry chicken there, white rice. At the first, white rice, this me I see. Curry chicken and white rice. That's slapping, especially when it's peppery. Yeah. Vitro is saying soup. Here, this one. Roast breadfruit and curry chicken back. Or some red pea soup with cow skin. Oh boy. That sounds like it. That sound like it. See? Curry chicken, curry back and roast breadfruit coming from Bubbles 12:15. What food where you go to? What's the go-to food in the rain, in this lovely weather? I would say it's lovely. It's lovely when you're at home. It's not necessarily lovely when you're on the road or maybe at work like myself. But yeah, we welcome the weather that we're getting in these days. Them days. Bird Plus says tin mackerel and dumpling. And I won't say what he says. Not fit. Okay. Marcia Dixon, cornmeal dumpling, salt fish. Ken says ackee and corn pork with roast breadfruit. Kirk Buchanan says soup. And he's asking Carlene Smith to say what kind of soup you prefer. Okay. A lot of comments coming in on this one. We welcome them. We love to engage you, especially on a Friday. Thank you guys so much for participating. But you know what? Stay safe out there. Stay safe with all the rain. It's raining a lot, so stay safe. If you're in a flood-prone area, you know what to do before it starts. Just protect yourself and protect your loved ones. All the best for this weekend. But before we go, do stay tuned for the business report. Up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34.
Don't let poor vision hold your children back. IQ Optical gives complimentary standard reflection-free lenses to children and teachers until May 31. Conditions apply.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Hiring in the U.S. surged unexpectedly last month, continuing to defy predictions of a slowdown, while raising fresh questions about when interest rates will fall. Employers added 272,000 jobs in May. That's according to the U.S. Labor Department, above expectations of 185,000 new roles. The larger-than-expected gain
It emerged despite the highest borrowing costs in more than 20 years, which analysts have been expecting to weigh on the economy. The U.S. Central Bank has raised interest rates sharply since 2022 to fight inflation, which measures the pace of price rises. The Fed has cited the strength in employment as a sign that the economy can handle the current rates. Going now to our currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 40 cents to buy $1 US, 199 Jamaican dollars and 35 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 115 Jamaican dollars and 5 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. May I beg you to do. Please, may I beg you to be safe on the road.
Some dreamers picture a place they call home, a house with no mortgage, a home that they own. Some dream of owning their very own store, meet a cafe or florist, or growing one into more. Where one dreams of making luxury shopping the norm, others dream of sports cars, the kind that perform. But one thing in common these dreamers all need is to build their wealth so they can achieve.
Never settle for less than your dreams with Sagicor Investments. Call 888-SAGICOR to speak with a wealth advisor.
Sir Optimist International Jamaica Kingston presents Classics in June 2024, Sunday, June 16 at the Iwi Chapel, starting at 5 p.m. Artists include Stephen Woodham, Yuko Aoki, and Rafael Salazar. Cost $3,500. Tickets available at Music Mart and all Monarch Pharmacy locations. Sponsors include Chase Fund, Kingston Freeport Terminal, Nationwide News Network, VM Group, and Vinci Construction.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up Radio Show, the voice of the Jamaican youth, right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth, don't miss it.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking beats.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Experience Jamaica's Olympic triumphs in Jamaica Gold, a golden spotlight.
Brought to you by Petrojam E1087 gas promotion, serving Jamaica's energy needs.
Usain Bolt won his second gold medal of the Beijing Olympics and Jamaica's 10th overall when he ran a world record of 19.30 seconds to win the men's 200 meters final.
You just experienced a Jamaican Olympic triumph in Jamaica Gold, a golden spotlight.
Brought to you by Petrojam E1087 gas promotion, serving Jamaica's energy needs.
Chewy flavor with delight. It really, really nice. May I say it twice?
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
6:40. Good evening, it's 6:40 and it's time for the nation's business. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening, listeners. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Well, we're turning over to food safety because today we're celebrating World Food Safety Day. The purpose to draw attention and inspire action to help prevent, detect, and respond to public health threats associated with unsafe food. Foodborne illnesses impact millions annually, leading to significant health challenges.
Unsafe foods widely contribute to non-communicable diseases. The Medical Association of Jamaica, MAJ, in association with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, in their opening 4-day symposium, indicated that we are facing a global health emergency. Director of Non-Communicable Diseases and Injuries Prevention at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Tamu Davidson, says NCDs have a lot to do with environmental risk factors.
We are facing a global health emergency, and that's of non-communicable diseases. There's no country that's not impacted. And in fact, this is a problem that we've been facing over a number of years. So yes, we have aging populations, but we know that there's a high prevalence of a lot of the environmental risk factors that are driving these NCDs to explain that. And so when we look at the Caribbean situation, we have the highest premature mortality. So people are dying young from these conditions.
Dr. Davidson also added that within the last 5 decades, NCDs have been the top 5 causes of death. She says the ministry is revolutionizing the health sector to create a significant shift in approach.
The top 5 causes of death, at least for the past 50, 40 years and the past decade, are our own NCDs. And so one of the things that the Ministry of Health has been doing is really improving the infrastructure, improving our approach. So we have the primary healthcare reform, which is the bedrock where we can do the health promotion in that setting and also get people into screening and care early. We're taking a patient-centric approach and a holistic approach to health. So when you're coming and interface with a health setting, they're looking at your age, your sex, and tailoring services. In that context, we are also building out our secondary care model as well, and also we're transforming the health sector for this new paradigm shift and this focus on NCDs.
That's Dr. Tamu Davidson. She's the Director of Non-Communicable Diseases and Injuries Prevention at the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
She was speaking at the launch of the MAJ's 2024 Symposium on Nationwide at 5 yesterday. This evening, we're joined by Senior Food Storage Scientist training at the Training and Information Unit, Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division, Tamika Samuels, and the Director of the Standards Division at the Bureau of Standards, Julia Bonner-Duet. Ladies, good evening. Welcome to Nationwide at 5.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let me start with you, Ms. Samuels. I think we broadly know, but walk us through how the food we consume contributes to non-communicable diseases.
Good evening, everyone. I believe the foods we consume contribute to non-communicable disease, some mostly because of overconsumption. A lot of persons, most Jamaicans, overconsume food, so they develop getting overweight, high blood pressure, hypertension, all those things because of overconsumption and not tracking how they eat and what they eat.
Mm.
What are the less obvious ways that food, for example, contamination of food or how it's prepared, could influence things such as cancer and other NCDs?
All right. At Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation, our mandate is to ensure that food and feed entering commerce is safe. And we achieve that through our different services, right? One of our main services are inspection services. This is how we serve the nation to help business to mitigate loss of their food due to infestation, right?
Yes.
And when we talk about food safety, we talk about the food not causing harm, allowing you to have foodborne illnesses because you are introduced to pathogens. And when we think about infestation, we think about the possibility of roaches, rodents, getting into your premises or onto your food, right? And when we think about those things, we think about the poor hygiene practices that will affect the consumption of food, because when you consume a food that is contaminated with these possible rodents, pathogens that rodents might leave on the surfaces or on the food, you will get sick. You will have symptoms of foodborne poisoning, right? That you'll have symptoms such as vomiting, diarrhea, and stuff like that. But that's how we serve the nation, keeping infestation from food premises so that persons can have their meals without getting sick. But as it relates to non-communicable diseases, I believe, as my stand, is most people end up having non-communicable diseases from the overconsumption of food.
Mm-hmm. And Julia Bonanduit, just broadly speaking, in terms of our standards in Jamaica, how up to date are we in keeping with the international best practices for food safety?
Okay, so at the Bureau of Standards, we ensure that all the standards that we develop are referenced in international standards and best practices. So, for example, you asked about harmful substances in food can contribute to some cancers and those kind of things. We would ensure that the standards that we produce, depends on the situation, would have limits for things like mycotoxins, limits for bacteria, limits for guidelines for example, safe handling and storage that would prevent us from, for this food from losing its quality, because they know that if you eat food that does not have high nutrients or that is deteriorating and have toxins or that has harmful contaminants or additives, these are things that the standard would highlight, and therefore, from a food safety point of view, the standards ensure food safety and therefore would prevent possibilities of NCDs developing and accelerating.
Mm-hmm. And what's the capability of your monitoring unit, I'm going to call it that, in terms of making sure that you're reaching as wide a cross-section of Jamaica as possible?
The monitoring unit operations is under what we call our sister agency, the National Compliance and Regulatory Agency. And they use our standards as the base and do a risk-based assessment of the companies and food processing companies across Jamaica.
Oh, so you don't actually enforce, you just set the standard?
We have been separated, and we, the Bureau of Standards in Jamaica, we are facilitators. We're not the police anymore. So we encourage production for export.
Yes.
Madam Bonanduit, I'm wondering, because what I've known is a practice that a lot of companies from the overseas market do is when, say, products are outlawed in certain jurisdictions, they then dump them on others because they feel the standards there are not quite up to par as to where the whole market is. What standard do we peg here in Jamaica in terms of, if, say, the FDA blocks or bans certain products, do we then import that block here in Jamaica, or do we set the guidelines separate and apart?
No, we do monitor the international market. In fact, we have a unit that deliberately monitors FDA information. It's called the Food Safety Monitoring Unit branch, rather, and we develop standards. And in fact, even lately, we review the customs information in terms of what documents, what standards we use, we give to the customs. So we give standards to customs that will protect our Jamaican society and prevent dumping, not in the real sense of dumping, but in what you call dumping. We prevent people from selling inferior products to Jamaica. So we consistently try to upgrade our standards to reflect the international changes so that our society can be protected from not only inferior quality products in terms of food safety, but just inferior quality products generally that would inhibit our markets locally and our industries.
Ms. Samuels, we have numerous cook shops across Jamaica. Almost every street corner you can find a cook shop. And boy, sometimes I don't know if we even second guess them. We just stop and we buy. In terms of enforcement in your division, how do you ensure that all of these places are storing food according to your standards and they aren't violating standards in terms of pests and leaving the food accessible to infestation?
Our reach is wide. We try to enter every major town to ensure that establishments in a major town have the standards going. They have their pest control under control. There's no infestation. As it relates to maybe a home shop, we probably won't get to that level, but we get to every level in every major town across the island to inspect these establishments.
So it's not just the big ticket names, the KFCs, the Burger Kings.
No,
that
we get to the small towns. You might have a town area. You may have a Papine. You might have different small areas as Almond Town, Rollington Town. We get to the small areas. We might not get to a shop level at home level, but we try to reach as far as possible to ensure food safety across the nation.
And I have to follow because my colleagues took me into Almond Town, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I had some good food.
Good food there.
Right, at a cook shop. But then,
Yeah,
I mean, I recall seeing a certificate at that particular cook shop. But then when I go to others, there's no certificate. So how does the public know that, perhaps your division has already checked this place and they're up to scratch where food storage is concerned?
We encourage persons to place their certificates where everyone entering the establishment is able to see, right? And we as a nation, we are very educated on food safety, where we look and we observe who are serving our meals. And if we see something off, a lot of us won't purchase from such establishments. So I believe that a lot of persons in Jamaica have an eye where they say, oh, that's not looking too good. They might not purchase from there. But if you don't see a certificate, maybe we haven't got to the location as yet. And
if there are concerns about the safety processes at a particular establishment, do you take reports?
Yes.
You take reports?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and how do members of the public reach out to you to lodge those reports?
We're located. You can get on our website www.fspid.gov.jm, or you can contact us at fsadmin@cwjamaica.com. Our phone lines are currently down, and you can reach us at 15 to 17 Gardentown Road, Kingston 6.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bonaduet, does the Bureau of Standards set standards specifically for labeling and packaging of food?
Yes, we do. In fact, as I said earlier, because of dietary changes and the globalization, I think this year's World Food Safety Day is unexpected in terms of the theme. We are at risk of higher incidences of unsafe food, and our labeling standards indicate there is a requirement that persons indicate on the label what are the dietary requirements. We also are investigating in terms of symbols. We call it front of package label, which will indicate when a food product would have high incidence of sugar, salt, or cholesterol or fat.
Can you expound more on that? What do you mean by front of label packaging?
It is really a method. It's really a symbol that is being contemplated to be placed on the front of a label of a food product, which would give you an indication of the percentage of salt, what country NCD, salt, sugar, and fat. So this is about which symbol it's been debated, but it will be an indication to consumers that this particular product has a greater percentage of sugar or salt or that kind of thing. So that label is to be decided.
And that requirement exists whether the product is manufactured here in Jamaica or manufactured overseas?
Internationally, right. It applies to both because it's on WTO principles. What we apply in Jamaica, we'll have to apply to all our imports, or vice versa.
And if it does not accord with that standard, is there a mechanism in place to stop it from getting onto the market?
Well, this would be a mandatory, a compulsory standard, so it would be monitored by our sister agency.
Okay.
And just to expand further on that, this front of label packaging, when you've settled on how it's going to look, what should consumers be aware of when they look at this and say, okay, this says high sodium or this has high sugar? How should they now approach the purchasing of such a product?
Well, it's supposed to be a deterrent, so it would contribute to the reduction of the high incidence of NCDs. So if you are being careful about your health, once you have an indication this has high sugar, depending on your tolerance level, you should know that you should be careful about how much you consume or if you consume at all. So consumers will respond based on their risk factors and how they are trying to control their dietary intake.
And have you been able to track or study how that kind of product labeling affects behavior in terms of purchasing behavior?
No, the Bureau of Standards itself has not done that study. There are some studies that were done, but we would not be the agency that report on that. I think some study was done by I'm not sure if it was the Ministry of Health. Also done some study like that to see how to track the uptake.
And do you... sorry, go ahead. Finish the point.
And I think the private sector regional did that study also, but let's say those has to be discussed from the person who did the study, because I couldn't report on that.
Understood. And interesting enough, that's where I would like to take it. What has been the response from the manufacturers and the private sector to such packaging being put essentially on their products? I mean, I imagine it would look something similar to the warnings that you would see on, say, a cigarette pack.
Yes, that's exactly the concept. Their response, I think, has been so far that they are fully in agreement with the need to move towards to protecting health and low incidence of NCDs. I think that discussion is being had at the highest level though, about how is it to be done. So there is a common agreement that this should be done. It's just how it's to be done.
And in terms of products now coming in from overseas, do you find that there is a receptiveness for, say, the people who source overseas goods to have this put in place here?
As I said before, the persons who source overseas goods, there is no real objection to putting this in place. I think the discussion is really about how it's done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ladies, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Senior Food Storage Scientist at the Food Storage and Prevention of Infestation Division, Tamika Samuels, and Julia Bonner-Duet is Director of the Standards Division in the Bureau of Standards, talking to us about the importance of food safety and packaging, because today, listeners, is World Food Safety Day. After the break, the numbers to call, 630-9371-4, 618-8255. All that's happened this week. I'd love to hear you on, for example, elements of Mr. Patterson's lecture at the UWI, and also hear you on this matter of the Sex Offenders Registry being made public. Yeah? Come chat with us.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs includes revising Jamaica's legal and constitutional infrastructure and accelerating the pace of reform. The time by the MLCA is
6:59.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams. Every day helping you succeed, that's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
This outstanding 6'4" athlete credits Jamaica with her first Olympic victory ever.
Jamaica is filled with Olympians.
World record holder McKinley dashes into the lead.
We must never forget the forerunners of Jamaican Olympic greatness.
Coming into the home stretch, it's Wint who challenges the leader.
Win or lose, athletes never forget their Olympic experience.
Fairly knotty and devastated. Another world-class field. And Hemmings is going to do it. Hemmings wins it. She's the champion. A personal...
Win or lose, Jamaicans will cheer the loudest at the Olympics so that the world will never forget who we are.
And Usain Bolt is moving away. And Jamaica retain their title. And the world record has been taken apart. Oh, I say.
From July 26 to August 11, tune in only to Nationwide 90 FM for the coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because we're here to ensure that you never forget. Nationwide's coverage is powered by our bronze sponsors: National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, Digicel, Grace Foods, Spirits of Jamaica, Imperial Optical Jamaica, and Rainforest Caribbean.
The Office of the Information Commissioner, OIC, is Jamaica's data protection regulator. We're here to ensure large and small, public and private data controllers comply with the Data Protection Act. All data controllers must register with the OIC and process personal data in accordance with the law. Help us create a data-safe society for all. For more information, call us at 876-929-6952. Visit our website at oic.gov.jm. The OIC, your data, your rights protected.
It's 2 minutes after 7. We're taking your calls, 630-9371-4, 618-8255. I hear Pepita has a festival song. Yeah? Can I hear it?
Aggressive, resourceful, and we are some loving people. And we don't have no time to invest with self in a evil. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African, Permina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we better one? We survive through any pain, and through obstacles we maintain. Through thick and thin, we win everything. 60 yard and counting. Me tell you about my little island. The whole place just a shine like a diamond. Let me tell you about Port Royal, like Key Blue Lagoon in a Portland. Come on, Jamaican, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaican, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we best weapon? So many stories have been told about the black, the green, the gold. And as history unfolds, we've been playing the leading role. Welcome to the reggae island. You can't take with you no simple Simon. Cause no we don't nice like Jam One, and the sweetest spot in the Caribbean. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we best weapon? Don't River Falls, where me just can't resist. 7 Mile Beach, where me get my steam fish. Down in a mobile, me get me national dish. St. Elizabeth, the bread basket curry. They climb Blue Mountain, they pan me list. Oh, what a piece of niceness like this. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we best weapon? Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican.
Yeah, man.
It's a nice vibe. I like it.
Yeah. Like how she sit down on the rhythm. Yeah.
So go Montego Bay if you get the national dish.
Shangler mango.
Is that where they sell the best ackee and saltfish? Or are you referring to something else as a national dish?
I guess. In Moby. I like it. The same, I got to tell you I like it. I've got to rinse it in a day now. Yeah?
So we're not unbiased judges here. We're taking a side?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
See, Shine's Law Boss on YouTube say, this is a winner, yeah? Passing christening Pitney first. Rodney's absolutely right. 630-9371-461-8825. William, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Siobhan.
Evening, William.
Yeah, I was listening earlier. I was speaking to the senator.
Yes.
And the other gentleman there. And I support the senator. As Ricardo, you talk about this thing a couple of times.
Oh, the flogging.
That person get whipping for the crime where they commit.
Yes.
Right? People get themselves in order. Because I can tell you that. I remember when the Taman whip used to use a central.
Mm-hmm.
When a person do a crime, and then go down and get licked, people now go think the reprisal, no reprisal, you never used to find, Because what? Those persons realize they get justice already. So then now sometimes you got attack and from them now go attack or anything, More than
because of the public whipping.
Yeah, man. That's my time them get.
Okay.
So you find people come out of the central gate, that stand up over the other side, I get today.
Uh-huh.
And listen, And when they come out and say,
hold on, that I get to a downtown?
Yeah, man, downtown.
Oh, that's where they used to do it?
Over central.
Oh, the police station?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Well, me not talk about GP. GP one was really horrible. That I get a 9.
Oh.
That is harmful.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get 2 or 3 at the time, man, then put you back in harder, man.
But you see, as you're right. We have talked about this before, William. Huh? We have talked about this before, and I told you that
I say it used to work. I tell you it
but my problem with it, William, is I don't think that's how a modern country should mete out punishment to offenders.
Flogging.
That's my problem. But I hear you, I hear you and understand that you're saying that, it used to be a deterrent. But I don't know if in 2024 that is, something that we should want to go back to.
Well, I don't know still, but since I'm abandoned it, the crime get out and worse.
Yes.
And I think we have a problem. Me hear people talk about you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that word used very loosely.
Okay. Why you say that?
You're right. Yes, you have a right, but it comes with some respect. It comes with some
responsibility.
Right? Because when people come here, people in high place and so on, tell everybody, you have your right for this, you have your right for that.
Mm-hmm.
So people use it. People not think about the consequence when they might face after them done. Then just go and do a thing because they've been told that they have them right.
Yes.
So I think it used very loosely, that word. Right? So these are things people should look into, and when we are educate people, we're supposed to wear a word. Because especially into school children, more time they go and do certain things,
mm-hmm.
but them shouldn't do. Because for we as a senior citizen, right? Me as a senior citizen, me gone way up. I am a blind person. I'm at the bus stop or wait on a bus.
Mm-hmm.
And you find these youngsters rush when the bus come and then just lick you down, flat on ground. Some of them step on you and then go on at the bus and then laugh. You can't say nothing. Other big person that can't say nothing to them. Right?
Yes.
Overreach to this stage.
Poor parenting, I would say.
Yeah, I agree that some of the parents have a lot to do with it. But when we educate these children the wrong way,
mm-hmm.
by people in high places, because I am listening to it all well, and sometimes some people come out and talk some things, because it hurt me,
Yes.
It hurt me. Them are misleading some of these children. Are misleading them. And them to stop it, man. And that's why this country slide on in this very pit, but I don't know how it can come back out. We are in a deep, deep hole. Very deep hole. And we don't know when it can come back out. By people in high places will mislead the youngsters them.
All right, William.
Yeah, man. Right.
It's always that situation with the older generation when they look back and there's some amount of nostalgia and they tell you that, it was better back then. But I just don't know if a modern society should regress in that way to adopt that kind of punishment.
It's a punishment that came from slavery, essentially, public flogging. But maybe not necessarily public flogging, but certainly...
I think certainly that would be, it would have to constitute degrading punishment.
Precisely. But certainly we can consider punishments that are public, not necessarily flogging, but things that essentially
something else
mark you out as having committed a crime of particular heinous...
That sounds like the Scarlet Letter. So. A Scarlet C, criminal. Yeah.
But I suppose that would be what would be accomplished by making the sex offenders registry public.
Indeed. Because it's sort of a naming and shaming approach. Yeah? Run the tune for me again.
Aggressive, resourceful, and we are some loving people. And we don't have no time to invest with self in a evil. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Permina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we better one? We survive through any pain, and through obstacles we maintain. Through thick and thin, we win everything. 60 yard and counting. To tell you about my little island, the whole place just a shine like a diamond. Let me tell you about Port Royal, like Key Blue Lagoon in a Portland. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we best weapon? So many stories have been told about the black, the green, the gold. And as history unfolds, we've been playing the leading role. Welcome to the reggae island. You can't take with you no simple Simon. Cause no, we don't nice like Jam One. And the sweetest spot in the Caribbean. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we best weapon? Don't River Falls, where me just can't resist. 7 Mile Beach, where me get my steam fish. Down in a Mobile, me get me national dish. St. Elizabeth, the bread basket carry. They climb Blue Mountain, they pan me list. Oh, what a piece of niceness like this. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Together, are we best weapon? Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions. Sweet, sweet Jamaican, Pata, we are African. Fermina the Gideon. Come on, Jamaicans, make we sing along. We are Jamaican, and we are champions.
So I see Pepita in the chat. She says I have to come dance with her on the performance night. And you know what, Pepita? I'll do it. It's a bet. I will come and dance with you on performance night. That's when in August? August, right? Yeah.
So. What if Pepito win? I'm going to say nationwide rig the contest. You know?
Oh.
You don't have to call nationwide name for everything, you know.
I said the other day, if some of our critics see us walking on water, they might say because we can't swim. I'm telling you. But no, Pepita, I will definitely do that. I will come and I will dance. Yeah, performance night. And Siobhan will be there as well, so will Dana. We're going. No, we can be backup dancers.
I have 2 left feet. I can't dance at all. That has been established by YouTube already. I can't dance at all.
We can do it. No, Pepita said it's July 13th.
I can do a rocking. I can do a rocking.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it.
I'll rock in the background, you know.
Yeah. Dennis Barnaby says she sounds good. She did. I didn't even know she could sing. I didn't know she sang. Yeah, I like it. Oh, Pepita, tell me. You say you're going on Mobe for the national dish. Is Mobe known for ackee and saltfish? Is it? Pepita said Damien too. Pepita want all a nationwide contacts. We're taking your call 630-9371 to 4618-8255. You grew up a country dinner. Did you have a favorite festival song? She says, bear in mind I was born in 2000.
I tell you, Manchester is not country.
You've had festival songs since then. Eric Donaldson, yeah. Tucker, you have one? You have a favorite one? Jimmy Cliff. Okay, Siobhan, how about you?
Oh no, mine is always from Island Taboo.
Jamaica Island Taboo.
Yeah, that one is stuck in my head forever and ever. Just from the minute I heard that song, I fell in love with it.
Okay, so Pepita says the ackee and saltfish is everywhere. Okay, so not a specific thing. Okay, got you. She chose Mobe because it's popular. All right, cool. I like it. They got me to sing a while ago, but
how many tourists come to Jamaica and actually sit down and say, I would like to try the ackee and saltfish?
I think a lot of people that want first they probably think jerk chicken first, and then they'll say they want to try ackee and saltfish. But I think most people think jerk chicken, and after they have the jerk, they say that, and then probably patty. That's been my experience.
I know the patty thing is because I've seen a lot of tourists leave the country with the literal pack of the patties to take back home.
Because it just doesn't taste the same overseas.
Definitely.
Even KFC doesn't taste the same overseas.
that I learned the hard way.
Yeah, it doesn't taste the same.
I hope I don't have any Guyanese people listening to that. I went to Guyana and I tell you, thank God KFC is not too far from the airport when I got back,
It wasn't good.
The Guyanese have some very lovely dishes. Let me not say that, but KFC is not their topmost.
And it's so interesting because you go to other places in the Caribbean and you see something with a name similar to what you're used to eating in Jamaica, like callaloo, for example. I went to Trinidad and I had callaloo, and it was nothing like Jamaican callaloo.
It's similar to hot pot that we have here versus hot pot other places.
Didn't enjoy it. They even have this drink called Marby.
Yes.
Oh my God, Siobhan, and I saw it and I thought, oh look, apple juice. And I thought it was apple juice and took a big gulp. And that was, respect to my Trini friends, the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life. And they were just drinking it with ease. I don't know.
I guess it's just, you get used to certain things in a culture over a time. I'm sure there are many dishes in Jamaica that others outside of here would probably say, that's not for me.
I don't know. I can't think of one thing in Jamaican cuisine that I think is like objectively bad. Like, don't taste good. Kidney? No, man, kidney slaps. What?
No, actually, Dana is right.
Oh.
Dana is right. I've to a lot of my friends over in the United States, I tell them we eat things like tripe and cow head and kidney. They say, why would you eat offal? That's what they call it, offal. Why would you eat that? That's disgusting.
What's that? What's offal?
Offal. Those are the organs of animals. They call it offal.
Oh,
that's what they refer to it in the foreign.
So then they know the curry tripe with the what? Oh my God. With the white rice and
that's poor people food.
And the broad. Well, call me poor. And the broad bean. So you eat tripe?
No, I've never been fond of tripe, but I don't have any problem with kidney. Kidney, liver, fine. Tripe, the tripe thing, tripe too chewy for me.
Tripe slaps.
No, whenever soup is cooked with tripe, I take the tripe out.
What?
I just have the soup. Yeah.
What?
If you're gonna give me soup, it'd have to be chicken food. It'd have to be chicken food soup.
Yeah, eat some stewed on nice tripe with the broad bean and the white rice and it's shit.
Sorry, the tripe and me just don't get along. Any form of tripe, it just don't get along.
No, it slaps. Slaps, Siobhan.
No, sorry.
What?
There are few things in the world that I will not eat, and tripe is among those few things.
Okay. Mona Smith said no to liver. I don't mind liver.
I love liver.
Especially with liver and
nicely cooked liver is just
dumpling and banana and yellow yam.
yes. Nicely stewed down liver is good.
With some little the carrot cut up in nice. Then I know. What kind of life when I live? Some of the YouTubers are disagreeing. Pepita says she don't like the tripe. Chinbella don't like tripe either. Ian is saying yes to the tripe and bean. Yeah. What about goat tripe?
It doesn't matter what kind of tripe.
The tripe.
Because that's what tripe is.
That's what tripe is. But the tripe that we normally eat is from the cow?
Yes.
Yeah.
The lining of the cow.
Okay. Oren says, I will never eat tripe nor cowhead, tail nor foot. I don't know, cow foot slaps. Cow foot slaps.
I don't have a problem with cow foot in so much as it's so limited in terms of what you get when you actually eat it.
That's what you've eaten off. it's like oxtail. You can't eat a two dainty pieces. You've eaten off. That's the point. That's the point. So Kenyatta says Marby grows on you. By the time I left Barbados, after 2 years of law, I was enjoying Marby. Nope. It's a no from me.
Listen, I would agree with him. I'm certain there's certain things that if you immerse in the culture long enough, you get used to it.
I not drink no Marby. And then when I found out what it was, Carlene is asking me if I've ever had pig tripe. I think I've only had the cow tripe, Carlene.
Because that's the standard what most people eat.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had pig. I've had pig trotters. I think I've had pig trotters, yeah. Trotters, I guess it is a foot. Guy trot, I'm assuming that's what it is. Yeah, right?
Pig feet, yeah.
Yeah, I've had that. Cook down, rundown, cook up with dumpling. Rundown is the salt mackerel with the coconut milk. Okay, yeah, I've had that. No, don't like red herring. Smells weird.
Really?
It does.
I actually find the smell quite enticing.
No, sir. It smells weird to me. Don't like that. Maureen Thomas Brown says, yes, Ricardo, when you talk about tripe and bean and white rice, call my name. It slaps, Maureen. I'm telling you, man. Denise Ferguson says, I was sweet like cowhead. So I've had cowhead a couple times. It's very mid to me. Yeah. Doesn't move me. Have to tell you.
Uninspired dishes.
Yes, yeah. Very uninspiring. It's okay. Goat belly soup. I don't think I've ever had that. Mona Smith says, what about cow tongue? Wow.
No, sir.
Why are we eating the tongue, Mona? No, I've never.
People do specifically eat the tongue.
How do you prepare that?
I think they cook it like soup. You separate it and you cook it in the soup, just like any other thing.
Oh, I've never had the I've never had the tongue. Cow skin, nice to cow skin. I have had cow skin. Yes, I've had cow skin. Yeah. Oh yes. No. I had. You know how I had come to have cow skin? Tana challenged me to prepare it. What I remember about it was that it was tough at first. It took a lot of pressuring. I think I got it to a decent enough. I mean, it's probably like a 6 out of 10.
Anything can be fixed with a good enough pressure.
And some pepper. If it now go well, pressure it and put pepper on it.
I mean, if you can't cook properly, get a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker can literally make almost anything taste good.
Yeah, it works. So again, my oxtail that I prepared, Siobhan, by myself for the first time. The gravy
I was told that meal did not.
It's not true. It is one of the enduring lies at Nationwide. So I prepared oxtail, Siobhan, right? And I can tell you, I'll be really there, bro. Look, the gravy was a little bit long. It was a bit lengthy, the gravy. Right? I couldn't get it to get that consistency, Jamal. But the oxtail itself, I stand by it. It was good. The gravy did long, but the oxtail was good. And my
presentation is part of the
right. So what they saw, because I posted a picture on Twitter. What they saw was the process, not the conclusion. And my litmus test as to whether the food tastes good is my grandma. Right? So grandma usually take a fork, she take a little piece, put it in her mouth, and if she chew for more than 3 times, then they get a then they know say, really, And she said it tastes good. She said it tastes good. But there's an enduring lie spread by Nora and carried by Dana that not only was my gravy long, but the oxtail never tastes good. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. and I also made some fricasseed chicken thighs, and that was also good, and them spread propaganda. My best dish, I think I can make a mean stew peas. Like I can go to town on stew peas.
I don't know. There's a few meals that I would only trust a certain select group of people.
No, I'm telling you, Siobhan, I can manage stew peas. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Only three people in my life cook me stew peas. That's my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt.
Okay. I can cook stew peas. Dana, I cook some stew peas here. Dana can cook shrimp pasta. Okay. And yours is baked chicken. I could have a potluck now. And
well, nobody come work the next day.
No, we can have it on a hold on, the belly run. No, let's have it on a Friday. And then so most of it not there on a Saturday. So if push comes to shove, we're okay.
My barometer for a good meal is if my mother is over, I will cook it, give it to her. If I go back and the pot's still full, it never cooked proper. But if I go back and the pot almost half empty, all right, she couple seconds. I mean, yeah. The meal will turn out good. All right.
So Gloria Johnson says cow tongue is cooked with broad beans, served with veg and good rice and peas. I don't know, I just can't. Isn't the tongue coarse?
You can't picture the tongue.
Is that
no, but you'd cook it down though, so it wouldn't be coarse. Soft. Yes.
You skin it, I don't know. Just the process sounds disgusting to me. I don't know.
It's the organ that just gets caught in your mind. It's a tongue. And you don't want to use it. Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's the same thing with me with tripe. It's intestines. That's where things go through the body. No, thank you.
Let me tell you, man, it slaps. Jacqueline Thomas says cow tongue can never pass my throat. Yeah, I don't think I could eat that either.
You never know. They could cut it to fine enough that you don't even realize what you're eating. Have you ever had that experience? You eat something and you only find out later what it is.
In the Philippines, they had me eat frog, and they didn't tell me until after, but it was good. It was good. Tastes like chicken. Oren says, and the running joke at the time was that because I'm afraid of frogs. So they were like, you see, your fears are just in your head. I'm still afraid of frogs.
In your stomach. Too.
Orange says stew peas with pig's tail. People are gonna get Thai. What do you like in the stew peas? Because I know some people don't like chicken foot. Some people put beef in it. Some people put turkey neck.
To me, stew peas.
Oh, by the way, don't sleep on turkey neck. Turkey neck slaps.
Not in stew peas, but
don't sleep on turkey neck.
Stew peas with pigtail and beef to me is the ultimate one.
Yeah, you put pigtail in there, but some people put pigtail, chicken foot. Turkey neck.
Chicken foot is my least favorite.
And beef.
With the chicken foot is my least favorite. But with the pigtail and the beef is when it's...
Somebody said to me the chicken foot is important because it does something to the thickness of the stew.
I will say this though. What has really grown on me recently is just the straight stew peas without food in it. Just with the vegetables and the dumplings and the potatoes in it. With no meat. I don't know, for some reason that is actually that's actually catching on.
I don't know what kind of punishment in the pot.
It's a punishment. It's just the richness. It's just really nice. And you don't even have to eat it with the rice. You can just have that by itself. It's just very nice. I have it with some dumpling in it.
So what do you put in that? Go again. So it's just
you put dumpling in it. You put potato and other things.
So it's like a stew.
Yes, but with no meat.
So you flavor that. You get a little je ne sais quoi.
No, but you can flavor it with things like black pepper and other seasonings. You just don't have meat in it. It's essentially just stew peas with no meat.
We not eat that. We not eat that.
See, it's called vegetarian stew peas. You've never had vegetarian stew peas?
We is not vegetarian. We is meatatarian. Mona Smith says stew peas is not stew peas without pig's tail. I agree. Concern Dunn says it sounds like you're describing Ital stew.
No, it's not specific. It's not Ital stew peas.
What makes a stew Ital?
I imagine you don't have any salt in it and no meat and other things. But there's,
oh my god, that sounds horrible.
No, but what this will have?
What? Mona Smith says that's Stupid's cousin. I'm telling you, Shav, that
But it's vegetarian Stupid's, and if you had it, you would like it. Not everything has to have meat, you know.
I disagree respectfully, my friend. Everything.
So you wouldn't eat, for example, like a vegetarian dish, like just vegetarian steamed vegetables.
By the way, you know what I've never understood about well, yeah, I'll have steamed. No, I need that with.
So you've never just had just steamed vegetables, just like a nice, good cook-up steamed vegetable with
with baked chicken.
But just by itself. You've never had it before?
Why are we doing that? And here's what I don't understand about the vegetarians. Why do they then, after this, they're vegetarian, then they shape the vegetables into like meat shapes?
What do you mean?
Like them a vegetable steak and that kind of a thing.
You mean like tofu steak and things
right, like that kind of thing. And chicken legs. And then they say it tastes like chicken. I'm like, no, that's bush. It does not taste like chicken.
No, but you've had tofu, right?
Yeah.
Do you not like tofu?
It's okay. I mean, because they season it in, and it's okay, but it's not. I don't think it's a meat substitute.
No, it's something to fill you, like meat would, without it being meat.
Yeah, we're gonna stick.
And the flavoring would be added by the other things that you put in the dish. Yeah. So for example, curry tofu tastes very good.
We're gonna stick with meat, bro. Yeah, we're gonna stick with meat.
But I'm trying to move away from meat, as in just in a general. I still eat meat, but I'm trying to move away from it to things that are just more flavorful by themselves. For example, I was just yesterday. I was in the process of I was going to cook up some saltfish with some steamed carrot and everything. But by the time I finished steaming the carrot and everything, you don't need the saltfish. Just eat this as it is. It was very good.
I mean, you're getting some support. San Juan says, Ricardo, you should try the veggie stew. It's really good. And Born to Serve said that stew peas without meat is great.
Exactly.
So have some supporters. But it's meat for me. Sorry. 630-9371-4, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. We're up on a break. Soon come.
Some dreamers picture a place they call home, a house with no mortgage, a home that they own. Some dream of owning their very own store, be it a cafe or florist, or growing one into more. Where one dreams of making luxury shopping the norm, others dream of sports cars, the kind that perform. But one thing in common these dreamers all need is to build their wealth so they can achieve.
Never settle for less than your dreams with Sagicor Investments. Call 888-SAGICOR to speak with a wealth advisor.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
3 meters clear, 5 meters clear, and away he goes. He continues on his way towards another gold medal. 5 gold medals, 5 world records.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, Fosrich, fostering rich customer service across all locations island-wide.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills. Fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Cool loans, selling your 500 grand. We buy appliances and electrons. All flexible, payment plan. Yeah man a hot cash. Hot. I hope to 500 grand. Yeah man a hot cash. $500,000 that make you rich fast. 100 grand fi buy steel and black. 200 fi furniture laptop. 200 fi keep birthday bash. Yeah money loan hot. Get a cool loan to purchase all your electronics, furnitures and appliances at coolmarket.com.
It's 7:35 and we're taking your calls. The numbers are 630-9371-4 and 618-8255. Richie on the line.
Good evening, brethren.
Evening, sir.
You know, say I'm always been intrigued, but listen to you guys. Anyway, are you guys discussing food?
Yes.
I'm a vegetarian, but not a vegan.
Oh, okay, I appreciate the differentiation, yes.
Yeah, man, not a vegan, because I eat a lot of sea fish. And I eat the dry grains. I steam the carrot, sometimes with saltfish and whatever. And I go and tell you a meal that I feed upon sometimes as well.
What's that?
The sweet potato, I steam it and throw the tin mackerel, the green one, and just mix it up as a nice meal.
You know,
I eat some of the chunks as well.
You know, I think I'm the only Jamaican who does not like sweet potato.
Really?
Really?
I don't like it.
Really?
I don't.
I believe it is the best food in the earth.
Yes, so I hear.
Yes, man.
You've never had, for example, you know, you can, like, into the Irish mashed potato, you can use
I know.
sweet potato, and use and mash it up. It's very nice.
The thought horrifies me.
Listen, my brother. You swear about
Not a
sweet
fan.
potato. Swear about sweet potato. It's such a bone in me. I eat sweet potato when I go to the market. The only reason why I might not buy sweet potato if I have some more.
Expensive though sometimes.
I don't care about the price. I buy it.
That's rich.
But you see the Irish, I don't touch with a long spoon because it carries too much carbohydrate.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Richie, because when I was going through this whole diabetic thing, the two things that I ate almost religiously was green fried plantain in olive oil and sweet potato. No rice, no other form of carbohydrate, just sweet potato and green plantain.
Yes.
And that would sustain me.
You see for me now, it's like the callaloo. I only eat callaloo when I grow it. I stay far from even the next vegetables because they have in too much chemicals. You understand? The carrot, not the carrot. Just about all of them. Anyone that you have to spray. But the callaloo, I only eat the callaloo when I grow it because callaloo, I want to tell you something about it. If you go into the market, if you see the one with the more than it, that's the one to buy. But people stay far from it because they want to see fresh and clean all the while. And it's chemicals. And if you walk into a store to buy anything in chemical, it is the cycles. That means you can't, the farmers don't wait until the 8 years to reap. For me, if I have to spray, I spray it and give it like 15 days. That means the chemicals must come out of it. You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
When you go into the market, brethren, it's just about chemicals and chemicals. Because you have the one they call it the carbine. You know about it?
No.
You don't know about carbine?
Mm-mm.
When you go to the market,
I don't go to the market.
You don't go to the market. Wow, you need to go to the market, man. If you don't go to the market, you understand. If you select the planting, and you say they don't have this pretty yellow color, like it tend to give you a green color.
Yes.
It's carbine they used to ripen them.
Okay.
And the tough one inside of them might be black as well. The sweet, the sauce up as well.
All right, Richard.
The cabbage is another one. You have to keep spraying cabbage so often from space. So I don't even go to the market and buy cabbage, you know. I don't buy it, period, because of chemicals. But you know, last thing I'm going to tell you, we'll have a rough life living because you don't get healthy food to eat anymore. Back in our days, like children, our foreparents, they used to plant food, and when they plant it, no fertilizer. You see, our watermelon, I will not eat any more watermelon. I used to grow it, and back in those days, you plant it, little rainfall, carry it, no fertilizer, no chemicals. These days, you have to keep buying the seeds. If you buy it today and plant the seed, you will not get a good melon. You have to keep buying the seed from them. And you have to fertilize it and use 3 types of chemicals to grow it. I don't eat it. I think I eat enough watermelon over the years because I used to cultivate a lot, but I don't eat it anymore.
All right, Richie.
But I'm not stopping people from eating it, you know, because the truth is, you don't get any healthy food to eat anymore. And you have to eat something, not true?
True.
All right, cool.
Thanks for the comment, brother. I see people on YouTube asking me, Siobhan, if I don't eat potato pudding. I eat the top part. What is that? What is
the crust, but you don't eat the potato?
Is that the crust? The hallelujah. Jamal said the hallelujah. The part that looks soft and pretty. Me not like the bottom part with kind of tough, but yeah, that's part I eat. Yeah. But sweet potato, no.
It's interesting, the dichotomy in Jamaica is that in most developed countries, it's cheaper to eat processed food, but in Jamaica, it's probably cheaper to eat the natural foods.
Is it? No, man. Vegetable expensive in the market, you know?
I understand the vegetable thing, but I'm talking about a tin, a corned beef and something rather than just buying something else or just buying natural chicken and things like that.
Oh, yes. Corned beef is pretty expensive, for real. I think the big tin is probably
thousands of dollars.
Right? No, it's not. No, Shaman.
No, the big tin is over.
No. When I say the big one, I don't mean the long one. I mean the normal big one.
That's still running almost $1,000.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's pretty expensive. Yeah. No orange man. That hallelujah top. Where you go? Fire top, fire bottom. Hallelujah and middle. That's all. That's it, right there, no? And you're right. And the pudding has this, I don't know how to describe it. You know, Metak?
I know, but
the potato pudding
no
on the top. Pudding. What is the thing on the top of the pudding? The part that looks like it's soft and it's sweet. I mean, the whole thing is sweet, but it's not the crust. It's not crusty. It's soft. Anyway, I cut off that part and eat that part. That part nice. Yeah.
That is sacrilegious, Ricardo.
I don't know. That's the part I like. That's the part I like.
I guess you're looking at it, you would consider this the crust, you know? I mean...
I guess you call it a crust, but it's not crusty. It's soft. Jacqueline say it wet. Yeah, it is the custard. Yes, Carlene, that's the word.
Yeah, I suppose yes, that's a proper term.
That's the word, Carlene. Thank you. Donovan said a slush. And you could also, it's a slush like, yeah, that's true. Richard, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm far from bad and nowhere near good.
Far from bad and nowhere near. Okay, so you're in the middle. All right, cool. Yeah.
Yes. No, I am trying to understand the logic behind Mr. Patterson. Because why is he insisting that we should not have a referendum and trying to push the CCJ down our throat? Are we not a democratic country?
We are.
Mr. Patterson is from that era. They believe in the CCJ.
Yes, but the time when he was taken to the Privy Council by the then opposition leader, perhaps that happened, it should have been pushed on our throat. And why did we have to spend $28 million to set up that court?
I think that was just the accepted belief as to where the region was going at the time. And that was a shared belief, not just here, not just in Jamaica, but across the region among quite a group of prominent politicians of the era, that the CCJ is what we want, this issue of Caribbean unity.
Yes, but at the same time, St. Vincent had rejected it in a referendum.
As with many things, when you finally put it to the people, sometimes the people don't necessarily want to go in the direction you want to take them.
That's why I cannot understand. The PMP in general, have that notion that we must accept the CCJ as if we're a puppet. And I find that to be disrespectful to the Jamaican people, including myself.
Yeah, while I agree and I support the CCJ, I don't agree that it should not be put to the people. So I would agree with you on that. I can see no compelling reason for saying it should not be put to the people.
And as I understand it, most polls suggest that majority of Jamaicans support the CCJ regardless.
Yes, certainly the last set of polls I've seen on it says yes, that a majority of people say they support it. So yeah.
Yes, but my final point here is that he's saying one of the things is that if we want to set up our own local court here to be the final court of arbitration, we must first fix the court system if we have that money. So why didn't we use that $28 million and fix the court system then before we think about spending so much money on CCJ?
That's a reasonable question, and I don't have a reasonable answer for you. But that's a reasonable question.
Gentlemen, have a good night. I enjoy listening to you guys.
All right, my brother. Thanks for the call.
My respect.
Richard, hold the line.
Right. So I see people asking me, Auntie Barbara is asking whether former Prime Minister Bruce Golding only spoke at the reasoning session for a minute. So just to clarify, Mr. Golding was in the audience.
Yes, I assumed as much.
Yes. So when he did speak, he was posing questions to Mr. Patterson. Mr. Golding, it was announced, will be delivering his own lecture in July next month when he will be the panelist. But for this one, he was just asking questions. So for those who are accusing Nationwide of ignoring Mr. Golding and only carrying PJ Patterson, that wasn't the case. Mr. Patterson was the guest of the moment, and Mr. Golding will deliver his lecture in July, and you can be assured, of course, that Nationwide will carry all the important parts of what he has to say.
Now, Mr. Patterson raised something that I would like to be further analyzed. He said there was a report done suggesting that the final appellate court being here in Jamaica is unworkable. I would love to see that report.
I have requested it.
Happy to hear it.
Because it's never been made public before. And
I wonder how much of that is...
When he raised it, I was like, oh, interesting. And to hear that it was commissioned by former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, yes, I requested it.
So I'm wondering if any assessment of that would have changed considering the time frame, which has moved on from then. Mm. Because I ultimately would have loved to see the final appellate court end here in Jamaica.
Yeah, it's an interesting argument as to... But my challenge with it is that I don't think fundamentally I'm opposed to Jamaica having its own final appellate court, but I just wonder how the arguments, or whether the arguments that are made against the CCJ wouldn't apply in equal measure to a final
and
local
it probably
court
would.
Here.
But I mean, I'm seeing past that because when you talk about the repatriation of justice as the opposition likes to go on, the ultimate repatriation would have it in Jamaica.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Something that would cost what? The average man $500 to travel from, say, all the way up at St. Thomas Hills to Jamaica, to the middle of Kingston to have his justice seen. I would prefer that.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Just I'm not fundamentally opposed to it. And we perhaps should have the debate. Just to clarify, Auntie Barbara, I wasn't accusing you of accusing us, but it was said on this platform that we were only giving Mr. Patterson airtime and ignoring Mr. Golding, when that wasn't, that wasn't the case at all.
No, because when I saw that, I said, because it was a reasoning session
Precisely.
with PJ Patterson.
Yes. Mr. Golding was a member of the audience. The Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs was there. She posed questions. The President of the Court of Appeal was there. He posed questions. I posed questions. NIA posed questions. So, yeah. And he was very frank. It was I think it was a very good lecture. If you have the time, listener, you should go on over to the UI's YouTube platform and watch it. It was a very good lecture.
And there are so many benefits to having these elder statesmen who have now essentially separated themselves from the politics and are able to speak to these issues outside of the narrow JLP versus PNP lenses that we tend to have today.
You would particularly like the parts of the lecture where he talks about the history of the formation of the Constitution and how Bustamante and Norman Manley went at it, trying to broker an arrangement because they weren't sure who would be the prime minister and who would be the opposition leader. And so there's a part of the lecture where he says that's how we even came to have the office of opposition leader recognized in the Constitution, and that was a first. And it was only because between the cousins, they didn't know who was going to be the prime minister and who was going to be the opposition leader. So they wanted to make sure whoever got whichever job,
interesting.
They had some kind of power. And so then he went on to talk about how the whole business of the prime minister, after consulting with the leader of the opposition, he said that's how that came about. Because one said, all right, fine, if you get the top job and I get the second prize job, they still have to come to me and ask me. And then he had a whole conversation about what consultation means. I ultimately disagree with him because he says he wants it changed from after consultation to after concurrence. So he wants the opposition leader must have to agree before certain decisions can be made. And
I wouldn't want to go that far.
Yeah, I told him I disagreed with him, and I asked him whether he didn't fear that Jamaica's lived reality in terms of the gridlock, in terms of, just some of the politics that we see could make that unworkable. And he drew on the example of his relationship with Edward Seaga. And he said, in jest that Seaga wasn't necessarily the most easy person to deal with. And they found consensus. I suppose you were saying if they could have done it, then anybody can. But I think that's an overly rosy, way of looking at it.
I agree that the politics has become such a thing in Jamaica nowadays that you wonder if such a thing as consensus can be reached. But I've told you my opinion. They need to grow the hell up.
Yeah.
I realize that maybe that's wishful thinking. But when you claim to be a nation leader and you claim to want the best for your country, if you can't seriously sit down with your opposition counterpart, your government counterpart, and say, all right, let's hash this out and see if we can find a way forward. When you just, I'll see you at the polls, and next time I win, I will take over and I will go this way. How does that work?
And that was the crux of Mr. Patterson's presentation on that point. He was saying that, look, you are a national leader and you ought to want what's best for the country, and therefore you ought to be able to sit in a room and come to a consensus and agreement, which is why he has rejected the two-tiered process of nominating.
And I told you, that is my opinion as well, that the two men need to sit down and say, all right, this is the president of the Republic.
Yeah.
What more do you need than to the two men say, all right, I want this candidate. No, I don't like that candidate, but can we come to a compromise candidate? Why can't grown-up leaders behave like grown-up leaders?
Yeah. What I would say is it was a treat to hear from him in that setting, and I'm looking forward to hearing from former Prime Minister Golding. They have such interesting insights.
And it's always a pleasure to hear from the two of them.
Yeah.
Anthony, you're on the line, Anthony.
Good morning. Good afternoon, both of you. One thing I want to bring to your attention. You see, 93, 73, the 630 line.
Uh-huh.
The line over a year now, I can't get you. Anytime you call it, he said this number is not assigned.
That's 630-9371?
No, 693-73. Yeah, man, 630-9373.
Oh, 630-9373. Okay. All right, cool.
They say, boy, it is not. And over a year now, Over a year now.
All right.
So I don't know if I don't know.
All right, I'll bring it to Mr. King's attention.
All right, then. Cool.
What's on your mind? Oh, that's it. All right. Just wanted us to know you're not working. All right, cool. Faithful, good evening. I win the bet, man.
Good evening.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Good evening,
Mr. Good evening, Faithful.
Good evening, Mr. Good evening, Shaman.
Evening, sir.
The reason with Mr. Patterson.
Yes.
I think it's one of the most beautiful speeches I've ever heard for a long time.
It was good. It really was good.
Real good. But I have a problem with Mr. Patterson say he's out of the poverty land.
Mm-hmm.
He's no more in reality in the poverty land.
Yes.
I think what is required, in my view, is for him to whisper Mr. Gordon ears and to accept what he agreed to. When he said, let us deal with the monarchy first and then CCJ next. Because if he don't do that and if Mr. Gordon don't accept it, but a couple more years from now, I'm going to say the same thing. I think Mr. Gordon gave a wonderful speech.
So an interesting point came up about that, Faithful, about that dealing with one and then the other. And it was also something that was raised with me at a forum I attended with Donna Scott Motley and Anthony Hilton. And the gist of it is that the PNP feels that at every turn they have compromised and allow things to go through on the understanding
without any reciprocity
that the CCJ will be dealt with in the next phase, and it never comes. So, for example, Mr. Patterson said he was upset. I think that's the word he used. Upset with the opposition at the time, led by Portia Simpson Miller, for agreeing to the Charter of Fundamental Rights without also insisting that the CCJ be passed at the same time, because apparently that was part of the disagreement, and they were stuck. And as you heard former Prime Minister Golding say, he took Mrs. Simpson Miller behind the speaker's chair and said, Portia, I need your, I really need you to do this for me. But Mr. Patterson was saying at the same time the PNP should have demanded that yes, we will give you the support to pass the charter, but at the same time, let's also enact the CCJ. So I get from when I talk to the PNP members that they feel at every turn they have conceded, they have, given way, and then it never comes. The CCJ matter just never comes around. And Mr. Patterson described it as, there was need for a quid pro quo, and that he was upset that they did not at the time insist on the CCJ as a part of that package. So,
but as a writer, but they did not agree at that time. So,
right, but that's the point. So what you're saying is that they should now go ahead with the Republic, and then in phase 2.
But that's what they agree on.
No, but they're saying that in the past, on every occasion where they have agreed to get along, there has been no, the government has never, the GLP government has never said, okay, fine, you work with us, we'll work with you on what's important to you.
But the thing is now, where the climate is now, the CCJ would come about. And in my view, that would be a win-win for everybody. But in my view, if Mr. Golden start to play the hardball that is playing now, in my view, the Labour are going to play hardball when they win the election, because they believe they're going to win the next election.
Which is the point Siobhan is making. And on this where I agree with Siobhan, and indeed Mr. Patterson, that unless at some point we break that almost pettiness,
the rancor,
then it's just going to be a never-ending cycle. We may never achieve anything.
I think, you see, making such a beautiful speech, and nothing done after a beautiful speech, it means nothing, Because I will admit that when I'm most beautiful story for a long time. But what is the fruit of it?
Yeah.
That's the point. I want to see some fruit. And in my view, if Mr. Golden don't move up those hard pencils, we're going to be here many, many years after saying the same thing. Because guarantee one thing, if Mr. Golden don't retreat from the hard pen to make, when they win the next election, Labour are going to want referendum on everything, including CCJ. Because Mr. Patton can make beautiful speech and say it's not necessary to have a referendum. The Labour are going to demand that.
But the irony, even if they call a referendum, let's say the PNP wins the next election, form government, call a referendum for the CCJ, it still would require the JLP support in the Senate to pass.
Yeah, but so will they get it?
Unlikely.
What the point I'm making? So we have a grand and glorious opportunity now to do what we need to do now. And as I said sometime before, who I blame even more than the PNP now is more so-called journalists and media houses, because everybody ignoring most of the media house is ignoring what Mr. Golden and what Michael Phillips said, that we agree to deal with the head of state now. And at the level, they back out and say, no, they're going to tie everything. So why torpedo everything now when you have such a grand opportunity? And in my view, the people will get what they want if they agree. If they agree to take the thing step by step. And in my view, if they found this grand opportunity that they have, it's going to be many years to come.
Let's accept. I know it's going to be. I know it's difficult, but I'm just going to say let's accept, for just the sake of accepting, that we take the opposition leader and the PNP at their word, that it's a matter of trust that they feel has been breached, and that they will not be any more forthcoming on the part of the government in terms of getting the CCJ through.
And can I say, Siobhan,
I can see where that would cause breakdowns.
In my reasoning with, and I don't think they'll be upset if I say this, my reasoning with Donna Scott Motley and Anthony Hilton on this, we had like a very long conversation, and I did get from them that it is a fundamental matter of trust, that they feel like at every turn, as I said, they've given way, and they don't think that, they don't think they've come out of it with anything.
Okay, so my next question is a matter of trust for the PNP to the Labour, right? So will the Labour trust the PNP when they get in power?
No, but that's what a shifts the blame. You're not addressing their concern, Faithful.
No,
which is that they have given way, and as Siobhan says, they've not gotten anything out of it.
Okay.
I think that's a legitimate question to raise. Yeah, we're out of time though. All right, that's all the time we have. Special thanks to Dana Davey, Andrew Glenn Anderson, Cara Powell, our colleagues in the newsroom, best in the business. Go ahead. Go on and talk with you want, son. Big up your massive, your friend them.
I would just like to thank Dana Davey for all her hard work today. She put together 2 excellent segments for us, as well as super editor Cara Powell, as you said, and George Davis, who whipped us back into shape after Mr. Ricardo decided when to declare strike.
We tried to strike today. It didn't work, Bugs.
I don't know how that would have worked.
I led a march on George's office. It never worked, though. But we'll keep trying.
I half-heartedly joined, but I just wanted to get back and do my work.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening.